across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Shabana Mahmood has done something which I totally agree with and I want to support, and that is making changes to the 1973 Immigration Act, which means that people who came to Britain before 1971 can be deported to their country of origin. Look, before I go to my first guest and before I speak to Asha, I just want to send a message, and it's something that Asha and I talked about last week, but it is a message to the good people and government of Pakistan. Shabir Ahmed, codename Daddy, who raped 20 children and organised the torture of dozens, maybe hundreds more, was given a 43-year prison sentence and was out in 14, as you well know. Some of his victims are now in hiding. In order to disrupt his criminal gang, Shabana Mahmood wants to send him to Pakistan. Now, I want to be very clear with you. The reason that we want to send our criminals abroad and the reason that other countries want to send their criminals to Britain, those ones that are British, is not in order to get rid of the problem and dump it on another country. We have the greatest love and affection for Pakistan. It is one of our brothers in the Commonwealth. But here is the critical point. Right. When you are able to disrupt criminal gangs by moving these people back to their countries of origin, you should do that. There are countries, say in the Far East, where there are child sex offenders who are British, who are now being sent back to the United Kingdom under similar rules. Similarly, criminal gangs in the United States of America, where some of them were born in the United Kingdom, are being sent back. What happens is this guy, Shabir Ahmed, he has a network of hundreds of criminals, hundreds of child sex offenders that he's worked with over the years. If you pluck him out of Britain and put him in Pakistan, he can no longer commit his crimes again, or rather, it is far harder for him to commit those crimes. This is not about saying to Pakistan, you must take everybody that's a problem in Britain. What we are saying, and I think this is reasonable, is look, you take your criminals, we will take our criminals. I appreciate, in the case of Pakistan, they will get more people than we will bring back. I accept that, and OK. But there will be other countries where it's different. But the key thing is breaking up these criminal networks, and I believe incredibly strongly in doing it. And if Pakistan needs financial support in taking these criminals back, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But I will tell you one story before we go any further. I was on the Jeremy Vine show on Channel 5. I was debating Yasmin Alibi Brown, you know, that complete crank who is sort of against everything British and in favour of everything crazy. Yeah. Right. So if you remember, there were a group of Jamaicans being sent back to Jamaica. These were people who'd been convicted of crimes in the UK. And believe it or not, BA, Virgin Atlantic, all the rest of them had refused to take these criminals back. Now, remember, taking a criminal back is not a bad thing because you get the 3 seats at full price, right? Because you need the bloke and 2 guys with him handcuffed. So, you get 3 seats, full price. You get back of the plane, out the way, no problem. These people, when Virgin and when BA looked at the profile of these people, they said they're so bad, we are unwilling to put them on our plane. So I don't know what each of them done, but they were so bad. Right, anyway, I'm debating, so they had to charter a plane to send to Jamaica. Yasmin Alibi Brown said, but you have to understand this. These are children. And I went, they're not children, they're adults. She went, they used to be children. And I went, well, hang on a second. If you can't deport anyone, if you can't deport anyone who's a current or former child, I mean, how on earth? And she's like, they used to be children. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let me just say to you, Asha, that I genuinely believe this is not about dumping our criminals into a foreign country. I think that it's a reasonable thing to say, let's break up this guy's network by those people that can be sent to Pakistan, get sent to Pakistan. Daddy is gone.
It's not our criminals, it's their criminals. And, you know, they've outstayed they're welcome, they've been bad guests, and they're out. Simple as that. And if Pakistan won't take them, because they're saying now they want there some political people taken, we have to let them go to Pakistan, and we won't do that. But we should, you know, ban visas from Pakistan and find somewhere else to put these.
So
these
sounds
people,
like
so
sounds
they're
like
not in society anymore.
Sounds like you are much more robust on this than me.
Well, I mean, you know, those girls now are now terrified. She got a 43-year sentence and he's out in a few years and going to be walking those streets.
I mean, what is the argument? Do you know what? Let's bring in Richard Donaldson, who's the founder of the Great British National Strike, and he's a former soldier. OK, I want to ask you this, Richard. I would personally have no problem, it sounds like Ash is with me, in changing the law. Shabir Ahmed, tow him out into the North Sea and just let him go. Just stick him on a raft, and just go, there you go, big boy. You do whatever it is that you want to do. I wouldn't have any problem with that, would you?
Absolutely not. I mean, look, I think we should be using him as an example.
Yeah.
I don't want any foreign criminals in this country, quite frankly. We've got enough of our own. We know that these Pakistani rape gangs have been running rife for decades, and they've been doing it with our government, our institutions, our councils, our child protective services, our police forces, literally backing them up. We need to get to a point now where we are robust enough to say, look, anyone who comes to this country, they're not our criminals, they're your criminals. Send them back, get them gone.
What about this idea? I've used a controversial phrase before on this show, but it's merely a quote from members of the Indian government. The love jihad is what they call grooming gangs. Now that is a controversial phrase, but the purpose of the phrase is this: they say that this is a weapon of war, that effectively effectively is a war of control of certain areas of Britain and indeed of India and indeed of other places, and this the mass rape of children on the industrial scale is part of effectively a battle plan, which is what do they call it, asymmetric warfare or whatever. It's not conventional. It's not a conventional military conflict. But this love jihad suggests that there is a civil war going on in these parts of the country. Is that fair, Richard, or is that just a crazy conspiracy theory?
No, I think it's completely fair. I think there's not really much more I could add to it than what you just have. I think it's completely fair. We know that many of these men, many of these kind of networks that are operating in the UK right now, they're coming from different countries, different ideologies, with completely different understandings of how women, children and people in general should be treated. We know that. Again, it goes back to the point that we don't want any of these criminals in this country. If I had it my way, I know you said you're quite controversial. I've said this week on my own social media, I want to look seriously at the reinstatement of capital punishment. I really do. And if we can't deport these people, and I'm not just saying it's them, I think anyone who commits serious crimes with irrefutable evidence against children of this sort of nature should face the death penalty.
The big problem you've got with the death penalty, so first of all, in principle, I'm fine with that. The big problem you've got with the death penalty, and we've seen this with uncontrolled immigration, all that happens is lawyers make $2.5 million each in America, fighting for 30 years against this lag being executed. And that there becomes an entire industry around it. What we need to be able to say is look, if there is, DNA evidence that you killed a child, then we're just going to give you the rope. But you know what we're going to do? We're going to give you it next week. We're not going to do the whole 30 years of Keir Starmer and Richard Hermer
They used to do it straight
fighting.
after the sentence,
I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a 40-year court battle, where we're all charging £500 an hour to sit there. That is the real risk of bringing back capital punishment, that there's just going to be big expense on the taxpayer, and you're going to get the Phil Shriners of this world just spending year after year after year coming up with a load of old... You know what? It's after 10 o'clock. Bollocks. Coming up with a load of old bollocks.
Yeah, I get it. Look, no system is going to be completely perfect, especially from the outset. I think there's already huge expenses just by keeping these people in this country. I mean, we're currently spending £60 million a year, £61 million a year, just to keep these people in prisons. We've got 11,000 foreign criminals in our jails in the UK, in jails that are completely overcrowded, by the way, and they're looking to release some of these, murderers, rapists, paedophiles.
I mean, they
to
have
free
done,
up more
haven't they?
spaces.
They've already.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's happening already, but they're really looking to push it even further now. it's absolute madness, the money
But
that's already being
it
spent.
should be Ahmed, and I mean, I appreciate none of you have met him, right? So, I mean, it's quite difficult, and also none of us have spoken to him. But is he a paedophile, or is he somebody who believes in the subjugation of his enemy being white British Christians?
I mean, either way, I don't really care. Yeah.
I do because if all he was interested in was just being a pervert, that would be very different to him leading effectively a paramilitary force attempting to subjugate the indigenous population of his area. He would be. I believe there's an argument for saying that he's a terrorist leader and not a sex offender. I mean, he's both.
I think he's both. Yeah, I think he's both, and I think. All we can do is look at what he's actually done. Not, I'm past the point now of trying to kind of work out a way where we can kind of, try and get this system to work. I just want these people gone. It's that simple. I just want them gone.
Now let me put to you what Asher Gould just said, which I will tell you will have almost universal sympathy for amongst our audience, which is this. Look, if you, and I'll put it in my own way, I should put it in his way. If you as a country, Pakistan, are not responsible enough to take back criminals that come to the UK from Pakistan, then unfortunately the system of immigration between the two countries cannot function effectively. Therefore, nobody from Pakistan will be able to come to the United Kingdom either on holiday.
You won't be able to transfer money, all the aid will stop.
Yeah, we're just not going to. And by the way, that Donald Trump said something similar when he had the quote-unquote Muslim ban. What he actually said was, he said there's certain countries who are not willing to work with us on visa vetting, and therefore those countries are just going to get no visas. What we've done in the past is said, hey-ho, Iran doesn't help us very much, but we're letting Iranians. Now we're going to say, Iran doesn't help us, look for terrorists, therefore we're not letting any in. Would you advocate a position whereby we say, if Shabir Ahmed does not go back to Pakistan, unfortunately there can be no immigration from Pakistan at all now?
It's a tough one, isn't it? I think it's so. My knee-jerk reaction is to say, well, yeah, we need to play hardball now. We have to get to a point where we say, like, enough is enough. We have to do what is necessary to get these people removed from our country. However, is it as simple, is it as black and white as that? I don't know. I'm a bit confused because it wasn't so long ago, the Telegraph, the Daily Mail, GB News, I think even yourselves said that Pakistan themselves were asking for these criminals back. And now that Shabana Mahmood has said that she wants to send someone back, now Pakistan is saying they're not willing to do that. Is that right?
Funnily enough, I mean, it's probably something we need to do a bit more research into, because I don't understand why some get sent back, others don't. I mean, there's a standard prisoner release system. I mean, we send prisoners all the time back to Nigeria and whatever to finish their sentences in prisons in Lagos. Yes, right? I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah, but we've got loads of islands around the country, thousands of them, like Alcatraz. If the country doesn't want to accept them, we can put them there because they can't be in society, and that's up to them. If some other do-gooding woke country wants to take them, like Sweden or something, they're welcome to go there, or if Pakistan won't have them. But until then, they live on these islands. It will be humane, like a Premier Inn type prison, and they'll be just there on basic rations.
Well, of course, the other option, I had a friend of mine who said this is what we should do with Shamima Begum, which is give her an uninhabited island and airdrop the food once a month, dried. And then she give her a kettle and a generator and a tent, and then she's good to go, right?
With a weather like this, it wouldn't be so bad.
She's used to living in a tent, isn't she?
Glamping.
Yeah, she'd be fine. She'd be absolutely fine.
I loved what we said to Shamima. My favourite thing was when we said, look, Shamima, the reality is you were warned not to go to a country with no consular services. You will have to go to the nearest consulate on your own, and that consulate is in Turkey. It's a 500-mile walk, which I thought was superb. But look, ultimately, I'll tell you what they expected. This is what the British left expected with Shabana.
There's too many.
No, I'll tell you what, I'm getting confused. Shamima Begum, right? Shamima Begum. What they wanted. They wanted the British Army to go in and save her. Now, remember something about Begum. The reason that she wants to come back to Britain was because the terrorist group that she supported had been defeated, Right? There was no great change of heart. What she then said was she thought, oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll sit on the bloody social for 40 years. You know, get myself a big council house, and then what I can do is I can have lots and lots of little mudgeons, or whatever they're called. You know, basically bring up a whole family of terrorists. We'll spend £8 million a year watching around the clock. She'll get £1 million in her deal on the BBC to do the podcast about how she's a child victim and all this sort of thing, right? And you know, she will live it up, and then there'll be an idiot like you, without being disrespectful to the viewers and listeners, an idiot like you who's still driving your van at this time on a Thursday night, and you will have to pay for her to get her backside fat and bring up jihadis to export to the next Islamic State. That's the problem.
Yeah, and people need to realise as well, like Shamima Begum is one example amongst thousands just over the past couple of years. It's just that he managed to grab the headlines. We're paying for all of these people day in, day out. And you're right, we are. We're complete idiots. We get milked day in, day out.
Well, I saw that guy on TikTok in the English channel, and he's saying he translates into English. He's saying in Arabic, it's £10,000 to come here, brothers. It's what Allah would want. Come here. £10,000 is nothing to do the will of Allah. And I thought to myself, is the will of Allah?
It's not bad, yeah.
Is the will of Allah to come to Britain and claim benefits, or is the will of Allah to come to Britain and take it over? I mean, okay, the man...
Well, more of them join up than the British forces.
The man didn't explicitly say the purpose of his arrival in the UK, but I would suggest to you that if he was here, he'd go, oh, it's great, 10 grand, you get a council house and whatever. It was the religious element to it that, to me, suggested that in reality, what they're saying is, they're saying, look, we can commit a genocide here, but this will be the first genocide in history where the victims will pay us to do it. They will meet us in the English Channel. They'll sail us to Dover. They'll give us a 4-star hotel. They'll give us free healthcare, dental care, benefits, 3 meals a day. You can rape their children. The police will be completely on your side. You can establish your own tribal area. It is racist to tell you to speak the language. This is the first genocide in which you will be paid and encouraged to do it by the victims.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just know that they're all like talking amongst themselves, aren't they? And they're saying things like, well, won't these people try and fight back? And it's like, oh, no, Mohammed. If they try to fight back, guess what? They're the problem. They end up in jail. That's the sweet bit about this, Mohammed. We get to get everything that we want. And if they speak out, they're the ones that get to go to jail.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I think it was quite interesting with the 2-tier policing. I forget who was speaking about it the other day. And they were saying the critical issue is that... that there's not going to be any attempt to take action within the Islamic tribal areas, as we call them on this show, because they know that there would be an uprising in that area.
They're just trying to keep a lid on it, aren't they?
Dare we say Islamic insurgency?
They're scared of them.
In this area.
Scared of
That's
them.
exactly it. They know it's... I mean, well, anyway, look, we've got to take a little breaky, but, you know, they know that as Professor David Betts said, we've passed the pivot point. They try and just keep the lid on while they're in power so they can scarper. You know what I mean? A bit like Rishi Sunak. We've got Richard Donaldson here. He's the founder of the Great British National Strike and former soldier, and we'll talk about that. The Great British National Strike.
He looks like a former soldier as well, doesn't he?
He looks like he still might be. Look, he's got his gear on. He's just come in from manoeuvres.
He looks if he could have you. He looks if he could have you.
Well, you. Not me, we're not with my training. 03444 unqualified, of course. 03444 499 1000. It's Andre and Ash on Talk, and we'll be back with Richard after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, by the way, we just had a message from Ernie who says that Pakistani people and others who are foreign criminals are not afraid of British cushy prisons. I do want to make one point about prisons, right? In British prisons, you have a halal option, vegan option, vegetarian option, all these sorts of different options, whether halal and whatever.
Chicken or beef.
I bet there isn't a kosher version.
It's a duty-free.
But here is what I want to say. I have no problem with serving halal food in prisons. I have no problem serving vegetarian food in prison, vegan food. But here is the rule. There's only one set of food, and it's whatever we found cheapest. So if the cheapest meat we can get is the halal meat, you're all eating halal.
Religious competition.
If the cheapest thing is vegetarian lasagna, you're having that.
And in a way, it's God choosing. Yeah, good idea.
So as far as I'm concerned, the whole well, I'm a Muslim, I need a halal dinner. No, you'll have the dinner.
You'll have the baked beans only then.
Yeah, you're
obviously not going to have the other stuff. But you can have the beans with a bit of HP.
As I always say.
Yum.
When you say dietary requirements, remember veganism, vegetarianism, halal, kosher is not a dietary requirement. It's a lifestyle choice.
On Passover, there's a part of the service where you have to leave the door open for Elijah, the angel, to come in. So would they do that at the prison? Just you have to leave the front door open for a few minutes.
OK, now listen, we are still here with Richard Donaldson. Now, Richard, look, this is the first time we've interviewed you. You are the founder of the Great British National Strike and a former soldier. Listen, just in the last couple of minutes of this show, tell us a little bit about this organisation, because, forgive me, I haven't heard of it, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty good. Tell us all about it.
Well, it started last year. I kind of just took to social media and I decided to speak about the things that you guys speak about on your show, the problems that we face here in the UK, and it took off. I've got nearly, I think, 1 million followers now across social media. Wow. And what I did was set up protests in 83 cities across the UK, almost every single city. And that's what kind of triggered the protest movement last year, or at least played a large part in it.
When you say things that we talk about, is it principally grooming gangs? Is it immigration? Is it poverty? Is it bad governance? Is it lack of democracy? Is it two-tier policing? Or is it just all of it?
Just the decline of Britain.
All of it. Digital ID, net zero, the banks, the Quangos, the NGOs, the WF, the WHO. We talk about the Fabian Society, all of these things that are systematically sort of dismantling.
The authoritarian creep of
everything. Exactly, yeah. And I think lots of different people have lots of different reasons for why they want to take to the streets and why they want to protest.
And can I just say that one thing to you, Richard? There are still people watching and listening to this show, and thank you for watching and listening, even if you are in this category, who think the sort of people who come on these protests are sort of skinheads in Ben Sherman shirts. Can you give us a sense of the sort of people who come out now? Because I think there's a great sense. Look, let's be clear. Sweaty, smelly students used to go on protests in the 1980s and 90s. But now I've seen for myself that ordinary working class and middle class people go on these protests now because, it's not a lifestyle to go on protests like it is for these lefty students. It's something where you're genuinely concerned about the future for your children. So can you give us a sense of the sort of people who will turn up on the protests?
So we do get, and you'll get this across the board, you do get the people that you've just mentioned, but they're very few and far between.
Yeah.
In general, the people that you get turning up to these protests are the exact same people that you walk past in the supermarket every single day.
Yeah.
They are mothers, they are fathers, they are people who are fed up with this country's decline. And to be quite honest, people are scared. People are afraid.
Yeah.
People can see what's happening, and it's not. Yes, all right. It's the Pakistani rape gangs. It's immigration, but it's also cost of living. It's the fact that pensioners are dying every single winter in their own homes that they've worked all their lives for. To pay for. And then they can't even afford to heat those homes. There's so
and the loss
much.
of our freedom is the big thing, isn't it? It feels like it's all closing in, and if we don't act, it will be gone forever.
Massively. I mean, you look at digital ID,
feels like
there's
this is the
slow
time.
creep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
what
really
is the
does.
strike bit? It says the Great British National Strike. What would you arrange a national strike? Is that what you would do? Or?
Well, so last year, essentially, what I did was I set up. They were protests, but when I was talking about protests on Facebook, TikTok, X, and all the rest of it, it just wasn't going anywhere. So I thought, you know what, sod it, I'm going to use the word strike, and I'm going to use it out of context. And what I did was I called it the Great British National Strike. It created a lot of conversation in comment sections, people arguing it's not a real strike, the lefties, the people on the right, and all the rest of it. But what it essentially was people turning up to protest in their local areas, building networks. It then morphed into that you had the Pink Ladies, you had Raise the Colours coming through, and it all kind of worked together to push this idea that protesting isn't just a left-wing thing anymore. It can be people in their local communities protesting for the things that they genuinely cared about. So it did morph into the Great British National Protest. We did a protest on Dover Beach. We got some boats. They got rerouted to Ramsgate, I think it was in the end. And then since then, what I've been doing is working in the background to support other groups and other movements as well, and other people.
And
who want to set up
what do you do
protests.
day to day? Because obviously this must be more of a hobby than anything else.
Well, it started as just me speaking out. I mean, I was a truck driver. I then got sacked for my political views. I then won my appeal. I went back, but now I'm doing my social media. I'm doing my online commentary, my political commentary.
And they're trying to control that, aren't they, now? And do you get pushback from the police? It's normally you guys that get the real pushback from the police, and they have the helmets.
Here 2 days ago.
Did they knock on your door? What did you say to them?
Well, they'll come to the door and they act all nicey nice and they say, "Oh, we're just here for a quick chat." It's like, right, okay, what do you need to... Well, what did you mean by this post, you know, or you've said this online, what do you mean by that? And then what they'll do is they'll start to try and dig. I've learned very quickly now to just essentially say, look, unless I'm under arrest, unless I'm being detained, we're not going to have a conversation, because nothing good comes from it when you're speaking out the way.
That's what I saw the what's his name, the bald barrister. That's what he advises.
Yes. Yeah, he did a full episode on it, didn't he? He
I didn't
might
know
have done
that,
a few,
but, yeah.
and I listened to it, and it was like a 25-minute video, essentially telling people how to interact.
Well,
with
it's like that
police
pub in
situations.
Chiswick where they went for a non-crime. We just need to have a little chat, you know, nothing, but you're getting close to the line. Do you know what I mean? And you don't know.
It's deliberate. It's threatening you, isn't it? They're doing two things. They're trying to generate evidence. Basically, their inspector has said this is a political enemy of the police. What we need you to get over there. Number one, intimidate them, and number two,
it was a counsellor in that
try
case,
and generate evidence against them to discredit them. Let me just tell you something. Let's just be clear on one thing, that you know, the National Crime Agency this week leaked bank account details of Nigel Farage and Richard Tice. You should expect, people watching and listening, you should expect that now, that the NHS will leak your medical records, the police will threaten you illegally, you know, bank details will be, you know, you will face, in my view, erroneous criminal charges. That is the nature of Britain now. Now, I believe we will win, but always remember, Keir Starmer is proposing a system for your phone which takes screenshots every second or whatever of your phone to check what you're up to. There is only one country in the world that has a similar system, and that country is North Korea.
People need to realise, don't they, that we're imprisoning more people in the UK for things that they say online than the next 10 countries combined. We're arresting 13,000 people every single year. We're beating Belarus, Russia, China, North Korea combined. We are living.
By the way, what did the police come and say yesterday?
Did they look at your books and say they're a bit Brexity?
Which police force? Come on, let's name and shame them.
Cheshire Police.
Cheshire.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, Cheshire Police.
What was it all about then? What?
So I'm a licensed gun holder. Which
Hey,
puts me in
I bet they're delighted.
a bit of a sticky. So if ever I say something online that could be deemed to be, you know, oh, is he trying to incite violence, which I've never done, you know, is he telling people they need to take to the streets and do X, Y, and Z? They'll turn up on my doorstep and they'll say, right, what did you mean by this? Because we might have to take your guns away. And you know what they're trying to do, what they're trying to take our guns away. But yeah,
that's why you better not say. I mean, you were a soldier. What were you in as a soldier? What unit were you in? Afghanistan and Iraq?
So I jumped around a little bit. So Iraq was the main one. I jumped around a little bit. I was only in the army for 7.5 years. So I started infantry, went over to logistics, and then worked with the intelligence corps for a little bit.
All right, so you've been around and
A little
seen
bit
quite
of
a
everything,
lot.
yeah.
Right, okay, so, well, anyway, how can people get in touch and with the Great British National Strike, your organisation?
Well,
what are you on?
Yeah, well, I'm on all social media. If you just type in Richard Donaldson, I should be the first one that pops up.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Richard, and we'll get you on again soon. That is Richard Donaldson, founder of the Great British National Strike. And
do you know what I would have said previously? He's only the famous Donaldson. We don't mention him now, do we?
No.
Don't mention him anymore.
Wasn't the guy Antiques, the Antiques guy, wasn't he? What was his name?
The only Donaldson I know.
Hello, bargain hunters. Him, what was his name?
No, that's Dickinson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dave Dickinson. Anyway, look, we got Phil Dave, and he's going to be going through all the stories and talking about Andy Burnham. He's apologised for Labour's response to the Gaza conflict. Apparently, they didn't do enough. It's Talk with Andre and Ash, and we'll be back with Dave after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk. And Phil Dave's here. Let's just introduce Phil Dave. Come on, Phil Dave. How are you, Phil?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
Now, you organised your birthday party for the Friday night, didn't you?
No.
Oh, is it Saturday?
It is a Saturday.
Have you selected your menu yet?
Oh, you know what I've just realised?
Yeah.
31 days in July, isn't there?
Very good. Not a lot gets past you, Walker.
Do you know what I'm coming... By the way...
It's educational, this show.
Right, so I don't care about the audience. How do you get back from Bushy to Windsor?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. You might have a bit of either a very expensive
Should I get a hotel?
Look, I've got a sofa if you really want.
No, what we'll do is...
Is there a nice hotel?
No, don't worry. I'll top and tail with Phil Dave. I will.
Good Lord. Now, could you imagine that being a podcast?
You can have mine.
In a single bed as well.
No, do you know what the thing is? He'd probably rather me spoon him. I'll tell you why. Because
Andre,
if you went top to tail with me, remember, that means you get the gouty feet in your face all night. Right?
That's a lovely image. Thank you very much. If you're having a late dinner, I hope you're enjoying.
Nothing could be worse than that. OK, so Phil Dave is nearly 40. So you know what?
Thank you.
Before we do anything else, give us your reflections as you hit the big 40.
Yeah, man.
What are the big things you've noticed?
What have we got to look forward to?
What have changed in your life? What are the big changes?
I'd say the noticeable change is probably standards in radio.
Yeah.
They've got a lot better, haven't they? Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know, actually, no, tell you the first thing that springs to mind straight away is that we're not living in the country I grew up in. There's the biggest change, that's for sure.
But you grew up in South Africa, so that's literally true.
I did not grow up in South Africa. I might have South African heritage, but no, born and raised here, so...
It's amazing, isn't it,
basically, it boils down to, I just simply don't recognise this country anymore.
Well, it's a different country. Do you remember when John Cleese said it about 10 years ago about London and everyone had to go
outrage. Everyone said how racist John Cleese
goes, yeah, he was right, obviously.
But the problem is, what people think we mean is there's a few black people knocking about. That is not the point we're making. No. The point we're making is that literally, in terms of the way this country is governed, I mean, let's just be clear. As Asher said, more people get arrested for hurty words in Britain than in Belarus, Russia and China combined.
But I remember,
that is horrendous.
in the 70s in this country, It wasn't even a thing whether they were black or white. I remember play school, you had Derek Griffiths,
Totally.
Fluella Benjamin, you had Trevor McDonald, and no one even thought about that. They might go, naturally, you wouldn't even say they were black or white. It didn't even come into it.
No, I couldn't agree more. I don't deny that many years ago that absolutely was a thing. And I am also not denying that over the years, including in this day and age, there are people who have faced some sort of persecution or racial hatred.
But it's made it more racist. All this DEI stuff has made it racist.
Exactly. I was just getting onto that.
Sorry,
I was literally going to say that
I've stolen his thunder.
Yeah, well, yeah, thanks for that.
You better say something else.
Oh, it's true. No, but look, the bottom line is that I don't remember, even sort of say about 5 or, I'm going to say 5 years ago, actually, I think it really is that short a time frame. I think even as recently as 5 years ago, there are people now who are saying things that I wouldn't have imagined they'd have said 30 years ago because I would have thought they're too racist. And now they're saying them freely. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
and it's all because our political elite are continuously trying to divide us. And that, I'm afraid, is the precise reason why I hate things like the Pride Month we've just had, because it's all been politicised, and it basically is saying to everyone, oh, look, it's us and them. And I hate that.
I've got to be honest with you. I hate the modern definition of bravery. I mean, in my grandparents' day, bravery was running into machine gun fire on the Normandy beach. Now, if you walk around in your underpants on Pride Day, they go, "Oh, he's so brave."
Well, you would have to be
he's
brave.
Not brave.
To do
He's
that.
just an exhibitionist.
I wouldn't do it.
It's revolting. I'm sorry, it's not brave at all. I think it's really disgusting. Actually, I think it gives the LGBTQ plus community a really bad name.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Well, it's not really gay pride, is it? Now it's fetish pride, isn't it?
Well, that was the thing. A lot of gay people were saying, you know, everything was all right, and this has brought it all back and took us backwards.
Totally. But that is what modern politics is doing. This is what modern virtue signalling is doing. It is dividing people. Yeah. It is telling people, look, they're different to you, therefore you need to react differently when you see them, and that may even include becoming defensive and hating them.
I actually think that there's an element. So I remember at university, there was a girl downstairs, literally downstairs from where I lived.
Now, Andre.
Yeah. And her downstairs had an intimate piercing. Now that's not the bit of the story that's particularly interesting. What was funny?
Why did you say?
What was funny about her was every conversation she ever had with anybody, she managed to get round to the intimate piercing. Similarly, I met a guy who was a vegan, and every conversation you ever had ended up... And actually, I think the underpant brigade actually principally are people who are just quite boring and have found something that they think is interesting about themselves, which is, you know, I'm a Gaza activist, or I've got blue hair, or, you know, I always think these people are actually just quite boring.
Speaking of Gaza activists who are boring, incoming Prime Minister, perhaps?
Well, I mean, he's probably no fun.
Well, yeah, because he's apologised about Labour didn't do enough for Gaza. What more could they have done? They recognised...
They don't need to do anything. Seriously, I'm so sick of this. I don't know what the hell's the matter with people. How have we got elected politicians who have stood on the Gaza ticket?
Well, he's not really
elected, is he? How on earth have we got Labour politicians who used to be all about the working class in Britain?
Well, hold on, we got a little clip of Burnham saying exactly this. Let's hear what we're talking about.
We must also be clear in our criticism of what has happened in Gaza. I know many people feel that at the start of Israel's military action in Gaza, my party didn't get it right, and I am sorry about that. The response has too often not been good enough. We need to do better. Yes, we have taken some important steps. These include recognising the Palestinian state, placing sanctions on Israeli ministers and imposing waves of sanctions on violent settlers and the organisations that support them. I also fully support the restrictions on arms licences to make sure that no British bombs or bullets can be used by the IDF in Gaza or in the West Bank. But let's be honest, the UK was too slow to call for a ceasefire, and we must now do more to strengthen our approach. Israel continues to violate the ceasefire agreement, killing innocent Palestinians. We're seeing a surge in settler violence in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and the continued expansion of illegal settlements, displacing Palestinian communities. And Netanyahu's government is clearly attempting to make a two-state solution impossible. That's why we need to do more, which includes looking at further sanctions, both on those involved in the violence in Gaza, but also looking at measures to ban trade in goods with illegal settlements.
I would be totally honest with you, Phil. I would have no problem with him saying any of that had he said something similar about the Uyghurs, the Rohingyas, the Christians in Syria, the Christians in Nigeria.
The Iranian core, the Iranian guards, all of that malarkey.
Prescribe these organisations.
My concern about Israel and Gaza is not that people have different views, it's that people are obsessed with it.
Yes,
I am
exactly.
not obsessed with Israel, right?
Correct.
But people go, oh, you a Zionist. I'm not even a Zionist, right? There's a country that exists called Israel, and it's doing a counter-terrorism operation, and it will get on with it, and I don't care. And
Actually, this is a really important point, though, because you've mentioned something there that I'm forever saying to people. When people say to me, you know, why is it anti-Semitic to carry on talking about Israel? It's not anti-Semitic to criticise Israel or to talk about it. What's anti-Semitic is the obsession.
Yes,
it's the fact that people can't let it go. People don't think there are other conflicts of the world that are far worse than this, much more worth talking about. No, none of that. You talk about everything that you could look at, all of the atrocities we've seen in history, and actually fundamentalist Islam is responsible for killing millions of people, way more than we actually even saw, would you believe, in a genuine genocide in the Holocaust.
And they even
but people don't talk about that because
everything.
They're scared.
They blame everything on Zionism. Even Egypt the other day blamed the Argentinian win on Zionism.
And I'm also, by the way, I'm sick of fundamentalists hiding behind peaceful Muslims as well. I'm so sick of that.
I think the critical concern that I've expressed and Ash has expressed as well on this show is this. The problem here is, and I think it's partly related to people being quite polite in the Muslim community, the big problem you've got is that, in a sense, the Muslim community quite often will take very little action against people who commit excesses within it because they're concerned about the reputation of the community, Islam being embarrassed, or whatever the reasons are, and therefore
I think actually it's much simpler than that. It's that they're human and that they're scared to say it, and I don't blame them for being scared to say it because they are probably more in line of fire, sort of pun intended, if they were to say something against Islam, because then they'd become a target, and that's not okay either. What needs to happen is collectively the world needs to stand up to these bullies who carry out these hideous actions in the name of Islam, and I say that in inverted commas.
The big problem you've got, only 400,000 British people say they're jihadis. I was like throwing that statistic in. Only 400,000, 4 times the size of the British Army, by the way. But the reality is, what I have found is because the 3.6 million Muslims who are not jihadis will not take any action to deal with these people, they might as well be all in it together, simply because they're not rooting them out.
All right, but Andre, serious question. What action do you think they could take? Seriously.
Point number one, ban all of the jihadis from all the mosques. Point number two.
That will require
but it's
money,
not just
security,
that, Andre. A lot of people on juries would always vote with their own kind, which is outrageous. You know, if you come here, you have to give up all that sort of thing and go with the British culture. But a lot of these cultures will never go against someone from their own, religion or culture. They were. We saw in America with O.J. Simpson, the celebrations. It was there was just a racial divide.
Yeah, so, but that was the same with Jack the Ripper and the Jewish witness.
I don't remember that one.
It was.
I wasn't here for that.
There wasn't a trial. There wasn't a trial.
A Jewish witness saw the person and saw Jack the Ripper committing a crime and said, unfortunately, because there's a death penalty in this country, I'll tell you who it is, but I won't give evidence. Which is why
I don't think Jews wouldn't do that in this country. Jews wouldn't. I don't think they would.
I think that's just as unforgivable.
The result of that was the police went round to Aaron Kosminski's house, sectioned him under the Mental Health Act, and there was no further crimes of Jack the Ripper. That's the stories it's told. I don't know what the truth is.
Can I just point out a couple of things that Muppet Burnham said in that little social media speech? First and foremost, he says he wants to make sure no British bombs or bullets are used in the action in Gaza. Well, do you know what? Funnily enough, Israel's actually managed quite well without British bombs or bullets, so that's just tokenism. It
We buy a lot more off them than they do off us.
Totally, it doesn't mean a thing.
I'm convinced, as I discovered when I helped out Ukraine, any item, even this pencil, if it's sold to a foreign military, is a military export. I'm convinced that the £45 million in military exports to Israel is something like bolts for planes or something like that. It's not bombs or bullets.
It won't make any sort of difference.
£45 million is not an enormous amount of money in military exports.
Bolts.
I think basically people don't really appreciate or recognise just how strong a country Israel is with its military. I think this is what it boils down to. They've got this delusion that they heavily depend on foreign aid and America. No, this is a country that is capable of generating its own multi-billion-dollar industry.
I'm extremely concerned because the aerospace defence industry is multinational, right? So there are little factories in Lancashire, I've seen them myself, who are making making bolts and making nuts, making washers and whatever that go on to some quite sophisticated US military jets. Now, if I'm right, and I might be wrong, if I'm right that the £45 million is actually is precision engineering parts, then that means that those parts might be cut out of the US programme completely, globally, and that could cause severe economic damage in the UK.
Typical.
I guess time will tell that. There's two other points really quickly just on that Burnham speech. Is one, he was saying, he made it very clear about Israel continues to violate the ceasefire. And notice how he doesn't say the way that Hamas and Hezbollah have never actually adhered to the ceasefire, let alone Israel violates it.
Ridiculous.
And then the final thing I'd say to him, and this is one that I absolutely love, because I tell you something for nothing, there's not one person in the world who could answer this. He says about recognising the state of Palestine. First question, what's the capital of Palestine? Second question, what currency do they use there? Third question, who's the leader? Who's the prime minister? Because if it's a country, then there's some sort of governing figurehead, right?
Well,
they can't answer any of these questions because it's
two minutes and decide what the currency leader and the other thing else of the new Palestine.
Jerusalem is the answer.
That's it. But look, let's give it a couple of minutes. Let's think about it, sleep on it, and we'll be back with a decision in 2 minutes.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Phil, there's no hotels in Bushy.
Oh.
Is there not? Phil Dave's on
No,
with
No,
He's having his 40th birthday.
Hang on, we've got a couple of inns. That's not true.
I mean,
The Red Lion. Should I go to the Red Lion?
if it's still nice weather,
yeah, that's actually quite nice.
just
that.
sleeping bag under the stars if it's a nice light today.
I'm going top to top and tailing with Phil Dave.
Yeah, you
I'm getting my
want
gown.
that. That's what you're angling for, aren't you?
I'm angling for that. I'm angling to spoon Phil Dave all
You can
night.
stay on my nice new sofa. That's
No,
as
I
near as
can't.
you
I
get.
can't.
You're there, keep
I
it
can't.
warm, yeah,
If
yeah.
I stay at yours, all that'll happen is I'll creep into bed later.
Oh, will you now?
Can you imagine? You wake up with my hairy
Why
backside in
imagine?
your face.
It could be
You go,
reality.
"Wow." You go.
Yeah,
You've had way more to drink than I'd remember.
Yeah, indeed. Right, well, you two can talk.
You've got Watford nearby. Yeah, there's places in Watford, aren't there?
I'm looking for hotels in Bushy.
So,
Right, go on. Go on. No, I'm not joking. Look, I am. Look,
Specifically more about Burnham? Is he going to be? He's going to be useless. He's not an airheaded bloke with no. He's got a bit of charisma though, and I'm worried the public might fall for it and go, "Yeah, isn't he funny and all?" And he'll do one thing to, and then if England do well in the World Cup, imagine. I can just imagine it could all end in tears.
What about the best Western?
You're right. He's got a bit of charisma, but can we just point out one minor detail?
I know that hotel.
It's because we have been so void of charisma in the current Prime Minister that a sack of spuds looks like it's got more charisma.
That is very true.
He's found. I
By
know.
the way, it's the best Western.
I know that hotel. I go for tea there sometimes. It's Gilbert and Sullivan. It's Gilbert's former house.
Yes.
And Gilbert,
that's
Gilbert,
quite nice, that one.
He died in the pool with a couple of actresses of a heart attack, trying to help. He was 70 odd. But yeah, they do a lovely coffee. You can stay there. The Best Western, Grimm's Dyke.
Grimm's Dyke Hotel.
So that's not a million miles. That's good. That's a good
is that within short taxi distance?
A very short.
A lot of cruising around there.
What do you mean cruising? I was
like you don't know. I almost believed you.
OK. So I'm going to stay at the Grim Dyke Hotel.
Stop trying to reduce the property value of where I live, please.
So Burnham, what's going to happen with Prime Minister Burnham?
Well, whatever we've had with Prime Minister Starmer, 100 times worse, because the difference is I think he'll actually get several of these revolting ideas through.
How's he going to get them through? How can we afford them? What's he going to cut back on?
Well, I don't think he's going to cut back. This is the problem. I think he's only going to increase taxes because he's just a typical die-hard Labourite.
It's all going to fail,
He sees let's tax the rich even more than we're taxing the rich in a bid to try and pay for a bunch of reprobates who can't be bothered to pull their fingers out.
So mansion tax, we're looking at capital gains tax going to go up, is it? I mean, what sort of taxes are we looking at?
Well, do any of us know? That's the problem. Unfortunately,
Even
he doesn't seem to have delivered much of a plan.
Who's telling him what to do? Is it Tony Blair? He's not thinking of what to do. He's just a mouthpiece.
Well, it's curious, actually, because I've never found myself more in agreement with Tony Blair in my life, and that is actually some of the things that he says in public, which I have to say, I kind of think, look, with the greatest amount of respect, Sir Tony, you've had your time. Maybe it's time to move on.
He's the cause of all this problems with what he did.
Bearing in mind how it was his government who made so many moves to destroy the country as we knew it.
Tens of thousands of laws that have stymied us, and now look what's happened.
Absolutely, all of the bureaucracy, the red tape, the
the government pull a lever and nothing happens.
Absolutely, the devolution of power to all over the place. Because ultimately it was his idea to introduce the idea of the Mayor of London. Yeah, thanks for that, Blair. Not to mention, of course, opening the floodgates on migration, whether it was, in those days it might have been legal, but it totally changed the
surveillance law, the terrorism laws, where they watch if you live in the right catchment area for your kids, or you put your bins out. They use terrorism
giving away so much authority to the European Union that we're.
Do you think he feels guilty, Blair, about what he's done? I've heard that he feels bad about. He didn't realise it was going to be like this.
I think that he's publicly said that he has made mistakes. I mean, no kidding. But
he destroyed the British Constitution. He must know that. That's become obvious.
I think when you look at the worst offence, no doubt about it, the worst offence that he ever did was abolishing hereditary peers in the House of Lords.
Yeah. What about immigration? That's the thing that's destroyed the country.
No, single-handedly, abolishing hereditary peers has done that because the Lords were, up until that point, the guardians of the country, and they would never have approved the laws that have seen so much change. And that's the whole point. By abolishing it, and I don't even know how they agreed to it in the first place, to be honest. How did they agree to abolish hereditary peers? I've never actually fully understood that, Andre. I don't know if you know that.
Because it sounds undemocratic, doesn't it?
The reality was there'd been a deal to save certain ones, so they lost their seats, but they got the right to run in a by-election. But here was the other critical thing. They were going to either use the Parliament Act or they were just going to create 500 peers and outvote them.
But I remember, because I was doing the show at the time, I remember how they sold it. They go, well, they're not democratic. How can these people, these posh people, just be... But actually, it was a system that had worked for thousands of years, you know what I mean, or hundreds of years.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing,
But that's how they sold it. How can they get it not voted?
It's amazing, isn't it, that at the same time as we've abolished British tribal leaders, i.e. earls, dukes, marquises and whatever, we've started... When foreigners come to the country, we're allowed to deal with their tribal leaders, aren't we? We talk to every community.
Because that's racist. That's why if you do that,
you're not allowed to take any notice of the Earl of Devon, but you are perfectly allowed to take notice of the person who's the most senior Pakistani in Bradford. And you think, well, I don't understand how that can be fair.
Well, because it's not. That's why. I mean, that's the simple answer. The reason why you can't see how it's fair is because it's not fair. And this is what I don't understand. You know, a lot of the politicians that we have, they can be accused of many things, but the vast majority of them, with the possible exception of David Lammy, are not stupid, right? And I can't get my head around why they would think in any way, shape or form any of what they truly, in inverted commas, believe in is good for this country. It's not.
I don't think they do. I remember speaking to somebody in the House of Commons during the lockdown and saying, does anybody believe this is a good idea? And he said, no. He said it's a function of the way the system works that if one child dies as a result of having no lockdown, then that will get on the front page. But if we isolate old people in care homes and 20,000 of them die, it's fine. Nobody will take it.
No, but obviously, sorry, you're referring to obviously the pandemic, but I'm just talking about in general, like with everything that's going on in this country.
But politicians said to me,
systematic destruction of this country.
Politicians said to me, and I spoke to many of them, we all know that this is stupid. And the reality is, somebody asked me last week, how can somebody stand up and say multiculturalism has been absolutely marvellous and there's no problem with grooming gangs? I said, when they go to the House of Commons bar afterwards, they don't stand there saying, I was right. They say, oh, I had to say that. They don't believe it. They don't believe it.
Show business for ugly people. Anything you want to say before we send you off into the night? Anything you want to get off your chest? You've got a couple of minutes. What are you doing
you say
this
anything
week?
I get off my chest? I mean, I quite like this story about how Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, is planning to amend the laws to allow the deportation of that revolting cretin who was recently released from prison. Well, I was just going to say I'm not going to say his name because he didn't deserve the publicity, to be honest. But I would suggest...
I don't think the publicity's good.
I don't think he's going to start selling anything.
No, but at the same... I don't care. I don't want to mention his name because it gives him credence.
Any publicity is good publicity. Tell Townsend Torreson.
My point being is that she sort of plans to amend the law. Get on with it. It's just all word salad.
It's all smoke and mirrors. It never actions, is it? Never actions.
The number of times we've heard this over the years, especially recent years, I'm not even talking about just Labour, it's the Tories as well. The number of times that they would say that they're going to change the law, they're going to look at doing something.
Do you know what my policy would be if I ran for Parliament? My policy would be, if you elect me to Parliament, I will put a man on Mars, and that man will be Shabir Ahmed.
That's a good start. Definitely
I'll blast him off, leave him there on his own.
Dave, we've got another minute of your final
you got
thoughts,
another minute?
Please,
oh, thank goodness for that. Well, in that case, I'm going to carry on saying that I'm so sick to the back teeth of listening to politicians just constantly saying what they think we want to hear because it shuts us up for a minute. And to be honest with you, if we go full
Another
circle,
20 seconds,
this
please.
is exactly what Burnham has done in that revolting video he's published. I think all he's done is he's kowtowed to the people who allegedly care about Gaza just in a bid to try and, win them over, really.
9.
All right.
Another 10 seconds.
OK, you can give us a call, 0344 499 1000.
Give us a ring, 0344 499 1000. We go through all the papers, tomorrow's papers today, with Pete Barnes. What's he got to say on everything that's going on? Nigel Farage, Lord Binface, and who else is going to stand? Could Lord Binface go all the way? He's the first statesman with something on his head. Join us after the latest news. Andre Nash on Talk.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, we're watching a bit of Sting. So during the news and that, sometimes we like to relax with a bit of Sting.
Mr. Q, Mr. Q, Mr. Q.
I was sat here like, is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? I could have
thought
helped
you'd
when
got
I
your
didn't.
headphones in.
I think that's the first time I've ever done it. Okay, this is the press preview with Andre Walker, Ashley Gould, and Pete Barnes. And Pete, I want to ask you this question. First of all, more than anything else.
Yes.
Right. So, I think running against Nigel Farage would be a brilliant thing to do.
I think it would be hilarious.
If I wasn't a mate of his, if I didn't have very similar views to him, I wouldn't resign the job, but I'd put this on hold and run. I'll tell you why. Because for the next 4 weeks, you get to interviewed all the time. You're going to lose.
Why don't we get Pete to do it?
Pete, do it.
Well,
do it.
Well, to be fair, I think he's probably going to lose to Count Binface, which I think would be hilarious. I'm not going to lie.
It could happen if everyone gets together.
Yeah, I think Binface is dangerous, but I don't think he's going to beat it.
I'm looking to bring it to the papers. If you look at the first, see the smooth like that, the first one in the Metro. It's Lawrence Fox is running against him.
Larry Fox could split the vote.
But what you actually need is a lefty, like a proper communist.
Well, the Monster Raven Looney Party might be on track to get their first member of parliament, and how hilarious would that be? I find it funny today.
No, it's Binface that would win.
Yeah.
Who's the fox? There's a fox like Basil Brush. Who's that standing? Is that another one?
I think that
stuffed fox. Is that Larry Fox's mate?
Probably, but. I find it funny, the House of Commons today had to issue a statement that if Count Binface did win, he's not allowed to wear the dustbin in the House of Commons. They actually had to make a rule today for that to happen. I mean, at what point do we think we're not a serious country anymore?
What I don't understand about Count Binface is what appears on the ballot paper. Well, you must know.
Yes.
You must know because your mum and dad voted.
Yeah, it's his real name. Also known as, it's his real name, and then it's
because some of them change their actual name by deed poll, don't they?
Yeah, some of them do. I think the Monster Raven Looney Party lot do, but he doesn't. But yeah, it's the way. It's like sometimes they put on like Andrew something Burnham, commonly known as Andy Burnham.
Well, he used to be Lord Buckethead.
Yes, I wonder, wasn't he part of Count Binface? Part of
right.
I'm so confused.
Lord Buckethead was somebody who appeared in sci-fi in the 1960s.
Right.
And somebody started running as a joke candidate called Lord Buckethead.
Yeah.
Then this guy, and I can't see his name actually here, but anyway. Binface.
He works here at
John
Times.
Harvey.
He works at Times Radio.
Right, so John Harvey started running as Lord Binface. Lord Buckethead. But then the guy who made it up in the sci-fi thing sued him.
Oh, right.
So he then became Count Binface.
Passing off.
The political party, interestingly, their national secretary is Tom Walker, who I assume is the same one as Jonathan Pye.
It must be, yeah.
I assume
I presume it's the same person.
I mean, Tom Walker's not an especially unusual name,
not in
but
politics,
I would have thought.
Yeah, there's too many kind of similarities in the world.
But John Harvey, Count Binface, has a degree in classics from Cambridge.
Cool.
He's quite intelligent.
Yeah. It's like Al Murray, for example. You know, he does The Pub Landlord. He's got a first-class history degree from Oxford.
Yeah.
He's
wasted. His parents must be fuming, like Harry Hill to doctor.
My favourite Count Binface policy, which you will approve of, is that the number of points that Wigan Warriors get when they score a try should increase in line with inflation.
I love that.
Yes.
I thought when you text me that over the by-election, I thought that's hilarious. I thought it was brilliant. But I mean, I'm not going to lie. This is a major problem for Reform UK. This is not.
Explain why.
So basically,
let's have a look at the front page of Metro.
Nigel's votes a two-fox race. Nigel Farage could be outfoxed in a cunning plan to win a by-election for his own seat by two foxes standing. Major parties have refused to take part. Anyway, so he's got Lawrence Fox and he's got this sort of bloke who wears a fox. He's a wildlife campaigner who wears a fox outfit. His name's Robert Pownall, who stood against Burnham in Makerfield this month. Now, when Kemi Badenoch was asked about, you know, why are they standing in Makerfield and let Farage, she said, I've got to give the chance for people to vote Tory. Why is she not doing it in this one?
Because she's not indulging a narcissist and an egoist. That's basically what it is. Why bother? Because we're only going to have to go through this circus.
But they behaved like the Uni Party, didn't they? Like they did with the local elections. You know what I mean? The Tories and the Labour combined because they were worried about reform and getting into these council seats. They failed in a legal bid.
Look, is this a stupid idea by Nigel Farage? Yes. I'm not sure it is. Why?
It shows up the Uniparty thing, though, doesn't it?
Not really, because you can throw the same accusation at Reform UK. You see accountability, you throw a circus, you play victim. That's exactly what the Uniparty do. The thing, for me, the reason why Farage is damaged because of this, it doesn't matter whether he wins or loses, is because it's not about Reform UK. It's about what it looks like to everybody else. Don't forget, Nigel Farage has a negative favourability rating. Reform is winning in the polls because they're not everybody else. And more importantly, his kind of brand is very damaged at the moment because of 4 by-election losses and all the kind of other issues that surround it. It's also not just one accusation anymore. Robert Jenrick's facing an accusation. I think there's don't forget Nadeem Zahawi's got his problems. Suella had her problems. This is a pattern. Do you know what?
It really irritates me because I think the only person in British media who worked for Spot Fitness is me. So you can guarantee. Oh, like Mr. Walker. Yes, you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Because, of course, Philip Ullman was one of our contributors.
Yes,
For a long time. I mean, look, there is now an active police investigation into this donation. I have to say to you, it is completely ludicrous, the whole situation, simply because it is based on evidence from a man who has done a plea deal with the FBI to go to prison for 10 years for fraud.
Yeah.
Right? That man has said, I made an illegal donation in the United Kingdom. Well, are we going to believe him, or are we going to?
It's a bit like the lawfare thing. I mean, we saw it with Trump, and we're seeing it in France now with what's the name? They banned from the election.
I agree.
All the parties do it, but they only use the law on the lawfare on Trump, on the French guy, woman, and on Farage.
I agree.
The French woman.
No, I agree with you. I agree with
Michelle from a lower low.
René and his dodgy cafe.
She wouldn't be allowed to stand.
No, but the point is actually what you've just raised actually indicts Reform UK further, because we all knew this was going to happen. We all knew the blob was going to get together and come for Reform UK.
Yeah.
And the way to do it was through the money and donations. It always is. So where was the firewall? Where was the procedures? Where was the firewall between Nigel Farage and Posh George? Posh George, this is George Cottrell, should not have been within 1,000 miles of Nigel Farage. A guy who's got this level of press scrutiny over him should not be
It's the
anywhere near him.
Harborne donation
the Harborne
as well,
donation
isn't it?
is exactly the same.
Well, let me ask
all
you-
you had to do was just declare it. That's all they had to do.
Well, they should have.
Let me ask you this question, though. Let me ask you this question. Are we giving are we not concerned at all about the National Crime Agency leaking people's bank account details?
100%.
Because that's not happened before.
100% a problem. It's the same way that I didn't like the fact that Nat West was giving interviews about Nigel Farage's bank account. That does not deflect from the fact that Nigel Farage has a Rule 5 Standards Commission investigation into him.
I understand that.
It's not the same issue. We can't conflate things.
No, I'm not conflating the two. I have to say, there's one issue I care about and there's one I don't care about. Now, that might be because I'm a Nigel Farage friend, but I don't care about the 5 million. Not interested. I think all these declarations are a load of old garbage. The reality is, we know that a lot of politicians are bent. We need to elect ones that aren't bent and forget all this ministerial code and all that crap. OK. I'm afraid police forces and the NHS leaking people's confidential information is a real concern. And what makes it worse is that the Spectator podcast, I think in January, Dominic Cummings appeared and he said, this is what they're going to do. They're going to leak his bank account. They're going to leak his... It's not criminal record, but what exists on him on the police national computer. They're going to leak his medical records, and they're going to bug his phone and release the tapes. Now, that sounds like tinfoil hat brigade until it happens.
Until it happens, 100%.
The National Crime Agency is the Britain's equivalent of the FBI. For them to be leaking bank details to The Guardian is an outrage.
It is, 100%. And on that issue, I'm behind Reform UK. I was
now, the 5 million might be a problem, I don't care.
But the thing is, I go back to the point. We knew this was going to happen.
We did.
Where was the firewall?
Yeah, but
why was this not protected and walled off? And actually, so the moment they knocked on the door, the people banging on the door were giving, here's the receipts, here's the audit, here's everything. You look like an idiot.
It was a schoolboy error, wasn't it?
Into an attack, and they didn't.
Pete, is it not legitimate to say, OK, I get the firewall, but the concern I've got now is I have to protect myself against illegal activities by the police to politically discredit me.
Again,
now that's a real problem.
It is a real problem.
And the government cut back his security.
The
that is debatable.
The $5 million donation is not a catastrophe. Police campaigning for Keir Starmer is a catastrophe.
It is.
The new operating system for your phone is going to take a photo. Every screenshot, every second. There's only Britain and North Korea that has that system.
Yes, I don't disagree. But then I also have a problem with the guy who wants to be the Prime Minister, had accountability knock on the front door and decided to run in a by-election that he didn't have to do anything in. That is the bigger that is also a bit of a problem when we're talking about holding people to account and standards and all the rest of it. The guy that we think is going to save the country got a knock on the front door and ran to lawyers.
Now, Pete,
that's a bit of a problem.
Now, Pete, on the front page of the Metro as well, I want to ask you which you're more likely to do: buy some Sensations chili crisps or get 50% off skincare products at Boots.
I look 30. I'm 35 and look like this. I think the crisps have got to be better. Although, to be fair, I should probably spending money on the skincare.
I'm in the skincare. Yeah, I think my skin. I've got to be honest with you. When I got this Lego man hoodie, the bloke in the.
Is that what you asked for?
The bloke in the shop said to me, "I think the spiky hair's behind you." He said, "It's gone now."
Yeah, I've had that one saying, "Is it time?"
The front of the Daily Star.
Front of the Daily Star's got Camilla Parker Bowles, hasn't it?
UK.
Oh, sorry, it's Mick Jagger.
Always get what you want. So Mick Jagger today has flown to Miami to support England. He says, we can sort out Ireland. It's all over now. And also tributes to Bonnie Tyler, who's died age, I think she was
75.
Total eclipse of our hearts. And she came on the show with me and James Wales, 15 years ago.
Hey, look at that. That's not bad.
And she lived in Wales on the coast. And I remember she was married to a judo champion who was best mates with Brian Jacks. You won't remember him, will you? You should have learnt about him in history. He was a British judo champion and won superstars many years running. But yeah, come on, England. Do you think they're going to do the business against Ireland?
I genuinely don't know. I'm not a football fan.
Nevertheless, that octopus knew who would win, so maybe it's better that people who
I'm going to say, what happened to the octopus? I was quite funny. I was supposed to be on Jeremy Vine on Monday.
Did you cancel it because you're coming on here?
No, this was the thing. The Monday just gone, but they rang me to say, please watch the football because they want to talk about it. And
but you wouldn't know. It'd be like a dog watching football.
It was something.
There'd be no point, would there?
Yeah, it was the fastest segment I've ever done in British TV.
Anyway, look, we're going through the papers. Is it Mark Dolan in the morning? Is it? It's Ian Collins. It's Ian Collins. It's Free for All Wednesday. No, Free for All Friday with Ian Collins, who's standing in for Jeremy Kyle. Where's Jeremy Kyle? Where's Jessica?
He's very much.
He's always going. He's always going away. But
so can I
watch Grumpy Old Men with me and him and Mark Wogan and Steve Denyer.
Can I raise another issue which is not on the front pages, but I think is a really, really significant issue? President Zelensky of Ukraine announced, I think today, that he expects within the next 2 or 3 months that there will be thousands of drones every single week attacking Russian cities. Now, what we've seen is we've seen hundreds a week. He's now talking about thousands a week. The reality is, I remember tweeting Sergei Lavrov at the beginning of the special military operation saying, the final line of your boss's obituary is going to be, he was shot in the Kremlin car park this morning.
Yeah.
That we are now edging closer, aren't we?
Yeah, or he dies in a car accident.
He's never going back to the Kremlin. He's stuck in his fortress, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's amazing. They're taking out 8 or 9 ships a night now, and they haven't even got a navy, Ukraine. This drone warfare has really changed how warfare works.
It was quite interesting during the major part of the Iran war. Zelensky was basically advising the Americans on how to deal with the drone warfare, and actually just how radical that has changed the nature of war itself.
Yeah, they made their own Shahed drones, which cost only $30,000, which is nothing in missile terms.
Although, of course, I think a month ago, it was illegal to call the special military operation a war.
Yeah.
I noticed the Russian ambassador to London call it a war, which I was slightly bemused by.
They've changed it now,
About 2 weeks ago. They're now saying it is a war. I've got to be honest with you. I don't think he can conscript people from St. Petersburg and Moscow. I think if you go for cities like Perm, out miles away in Siberia, nobody notices. I mean, they've raided Dagestan, haven't they? Places like that, right? Where basically they've just... and this is not me being disrespectful. I'm a Christian, but... You know, the cheap life has been expended now. Yeah. It's the real people.
You're now about to notice people with a little bit of money and their kids are suddenly about to be drawn into it, and that is when it changes everything.
Did we take the break? We didn't.
We didn't take the break.
By the way, before we go any further, let me tell you, the average life expectancy of a Russian infantryman on his first day in the field in Ukraine is 28 minutes.
28, wow.
Is that including the tea break?
Wow.
28 minutes.
Well, I wonder what the first, how long an infantryman lasted in World War I or World War II going over the trenches.
And most of them are dying from drones. So imagine how terrifying
they don't make it to the trenches.
About 90% of them are just running away and a drone blows them. But anyway, on that literal bombshell, it's talk with Andre and Ash, Pete Barnes going through the papers, and we'll be back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, it's the press preview with Andre Walker, Asher Gould and Pete Barnes. Over the break, we did do a little bit of research to work out some of the similarities and differences. The 28-minute statistic on Russian soldiers in Ukraine is obviously people heading literally to the front line. It's not the amount of time you spent in the military. Fairly obviously, you can't sign up in Siberia 28 minutes later. But it is a striking figure that of British soldiers in the First World War, 10% were killed. Russian soldiers in Ukraine, 25% are killed. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but I mean, you know, 2.5 times as much is a pretty serious number.
They've had 1.5 million casualties, Russia.
It's a
staggering 1,000 men a day.
It's a staggering amount of people. And like we said, now that it's, with respect, it's people with money, it's their kids, it's their lives that are about to be impacted in a very real way.
They haven't really got that big a population for the size of country. It's
great danger. The great danger now is the Adolf Hitler problem, which is this. So just remember something. If you are a dictator, the end of your career is a bullet in the head. Right. Now, remember, if you are a democratically elected leader, the end of your career is you get given a seat in the House of Lords, and that's the end of it, and nobody cares about you forever. Right. Remember, Putin is going to die. Therefore, like when Hitler was in that position, he simply threw everything at it.
Yes.
He didn't go, there's no point in this now. What he did was called up the Hitler Youth as young as 12 and sent them out with guns fighting the Red Army.
Yes.
Right. So the big concern is that Vladimir Putin is going to do exactly the same thing, and he's just going to fight to the death because his death is guaranteed, so he won't be too
Well, that's
worried.
the nuclear option you're talking about,
It's
and
the
he
same
wouldn't be
thing.
allowed, apparently. You
It's
know,
the exact same thing.
I don't think they'd let him do it.
No, I don't think they'd let him do it. It's the exact same thing that's happened with Iran.
Yeah,
It's
exactly
the
that.
exact same thing. They got rid of the Ayatollah, and it's everybody else. And like I said, the Ayatollah basically, to a degree, kind of knew what was coming because when the Trump Armada is literally sailing across the ocean,
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
obvious
But
what
that's
is
the
coming.
authoritarian way.
Yeah.
You know, you get a good run, you might get 20, 30, 40, 50 years, but
Yeah.
very few people, apart from Mugabe and people like that, actually get to the end without getting horrifically murdered or killed.
I think the
That's the gamble.
I think the other concern with Putin is the sons, not the daughters. So the daughters are sort of in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
The sons, I think, are 11 and 7.
I think so, yeah.
And they live near Moscow in that weird complex he's built.
Yes, the
Now,
thing that's definitely not a Bond lair.
yeah, the real concern. Although to be fair, Vladimir Putin's one of his yachts was seen in Denmark. So whether he's evacuated members of the family,
It wouldn't surprise
I don't think he can. That gymnast he's dating and the two sons, I don't think he could evacuate. I think it'd be impossible. But the big problem is, in all likelihood, if he falls from power, they'll shoot him. They'll shoot the ex-wife, they'll shoot the current girlfriend, they'll probably shoot the two sons as well, and all the money will be taken off
That's
him.
just like Tsar Nicholas, isn't it? What they
all
did
of
with
these-
the terrible
so
how
all
it
of these-
ended. With
so,
the
so,
whole-
so that so he's got two daughters. One who lives in Switzerland, the other who lives in Weybridge,
Yeah.
and the one in and basically.
Don't tell everyone.
Well, she lives in St George's Hill, Weybridge.
everybody
Everyone knows
knows.
that,
Yeah.
right? Which is why I don't think they're going to nuke London, are they?
Take it.
I mean, they all live under fake names, right?
What name?
Well, she's
No,
she's,
don't.
She's a single mum with a son who's about 15.
Yeah, speaks with a heavy Russian accent.
That's right. That's right. Answers to the name Vlad. Yeah, but the reality is,
Kid's got a striking resemblance.
their access to money might become quite limited.
That is also when the problem is.
The problem is when you're money laundering that amount of stolen money, it's quite hard to move like 10 million into a current account or whatever.
You're also relying on other people to keep the promises.
That's right.
That is what also usually lets authoritarians down, is you're relying on people who once were scared of you are no longer scared of you. That's when everything starts to collapse.
That's right.
That's one thing that actually really brought down the Nazi regime was once Hitler's authority was questioned just a little bit, it all crumbled very quickly because once the guy at the top isn't as scary, people will then start to move against them.
Well, look what happened. That's how it happens. Look, Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein.
Oh, every single time.
Yeah. Well, apart from
Gaddafi.
Mugabe.
Apart from,
Gaddafi died in the worst way possible, didn't he?
Oh, God.
I mean, they violated him. Violated him with a
But
steel
he had a
bar.
good run, though.
Oh,
Burnham White, this is the FD.
FD.
Burnham White's plan to install deputy in Downing Street's northern outpost. This is that ridiculous idea of going on about the north and having a Downing Street up north. I'm sure you two guys are really up for it. I mean, where's it going to be? Is it going to be
Apparently Piccadilly Gardens. Apparently,
Crackadilly Gardens full of crackheads?
And it's also right near the Manchester University Research Campus as well, because of the heavy security that's already.
But it's overrun with crackheads.
Yeah, well, it's no different than Downing.
It's the heavy security because that is the hub of the internet.
Yes, it's where a lot of the quantum computing research is already done. It was one of the sites it's kind of lost.
Down the Oxford Road, that is. Yeah, I know. I used to go there.
It's called something like the Manchester Spine, isn't it? Or something like
it's
that.
something like that. It's basically the kind of the heavy research and all the kind of the money they poured into the university for
It's the internet hub
research,
as well.
yeah, all that kind of stuff.
I have to say, if Andy Burnham was to sit here right now, I would say to him, I think number 10 north is Pebble Mill. And I think selling Whitehall and moving departments lock, stock and barrel out of London is Media City. Right, and just to explain for those who don't understand, for years the BBC said we are too London-centric. They built this studio in Pebble Mill. It was in the middle of nowhere and it didn't. Andy Burnham came along, ironically, and said, if you want to do something, you've got to move the lot to Media City.
Pebble Mill was quite a success.
It's also, see, the thing for me is, People are looking
Very
at...
hurt.
By the way, just to be clear, Pete, I think those departments in Whitehall is madness.
Yes.
Absolute madness. Tens of thousands of civil servants in prime real estate in central Westminster, where they could be anywhere in the country. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So the thing is, a lot of people are looking at the number 10 North as a kind of feasibility thing. I'm looking at it as a campaign tactic. I think this is Andy Burnham running for the general election, because it's not just about moving office furniture, it's about power. If power actually moves out of Whitehall and into the north, Andy Burnham is able to take they don't care about you, they've neglected you, and I've given you actual authority. That is a very powerful narrative for the north.
If you are the man, you are the man who says the reason Pebble Mill failed is we moved one studio complex to Birmingham. The only way we're going to successfully do this is if we move the whole BBC to Manchester. And that guy goes, there's a problem with government being too London-centric. Let's move half of number 10. You go, well, that's Pebble Mill.
Right. Again, the thing with Pebble Mill is you moved one studio. If you move power and authority to actually allow it to have autonomy, like a proper region, I think that is the difference.
Well, there was Pebble Mill at one. It's a great show
but
for many decades.
Well, I think the point is really, if it has taxability, if it's got ability, if it's not just an administration point like a Metro Mayor, here's some money, do the thing with it. If it says, here's some power to gain some money.
Is it really?
But that's the point. That's the test.
It's not going to be a different government, though, is it?
That's the test for it. If it's got real power, it's a real thing.
Just
but they never did. The BBC, they all stayed in London, didn't they? And commuted to Manchester.
Just to be clear, I am convinced that number 10 North is moving some people to basically some cabinet office workers to the north of England. It's not going to be two governments.
No, but that, for me, that is the test of it. If it's just moving some people up, it's a pointless exercise.
But isn't the quality going to... I mean, a lot of people won't want to go up there, so you're going to get even less pick of people.
Oh, I think the woman who's already in line to take over there, she's something to do with Greater Manchester Authority. There's already people lined up to take the top jobs anyway. This has been a long-term plan of his for some time. And you can tell it's the only thing he's actually got any policy behind.
But you explain to me now. Sorry, I know you're not going to explain to me, but rhetorically, OK. Why is the Department for Agriculture in London?
I don't know.
I mean, what is the argument?
I mean, a few years ago, do you not find it funny that we had a DEFRA secretary who'd never been to a farm? We had a DEFRA who'd never been to a farm. But this is the point. You've got civil servants in London who have no idea how these things actually work.
I mean, if you think about
it makes sense to move it to the
north is a farm.
You think about it. Think about it. If you are talking about the Department for Transport, there's so many better places.
Crewe.
I mean, I was going to say that. Birmingham, the centre of the canals, centre of the railways, centre of the motorway system, right? And then you look now. Most people watching and listening to this have not spent much time in Whitehall, but what you're talking about is these amazing buildings which are basically decaying relics. You are never going to find the money to refurbish those buildings to a high standard. You're better doing what they did with the old War Office. They've turned it into raffles.
Yeah, turned it into a hotel.
Exactly.
Literally, I thought the exact same thing. I thought, actually, it's the one thing I agree with Danny Kruger on. Move, he wants to move some of it back, but actually move it to smaller offices, more sustainable offices, which is actually the smarter thing to do, because you're right. These buildings are grade 1, grade 2 listed. That means you can't do anything to them. So therefore, give it to a hotel, give it to a developer who's got the money to do it. The government doesn't have the money to maintain the money.
If you think about it, what a lot of organisations do is basically they have hot desks in a building. So you just basically go, right, here is our building in Westminster for civil servants. Right? And you just work from there whenever you're in London.
Do you not remember when Jacob Rees-Mogg was he... Cabinet Secretary, I think. No, actually, no. When he was leader of the House, he put little notes on people's desks saying, "We hope to see you soon. We're working from home." I thought that was very funny. Well, but you're totally right. Every major real organisation, a corporate organisation around the world has hot desking. It's got a small. Even Zoom, for God's sakes, is telling people to go back to the offices. When Zoom is telling people we need to go back to the office, I think the government has to wake up and realise that what they want to do is nonsense.
In 2010, when I started working for the second time in Parliament. Zach Goldsmith, I mean, everyone was going, where's my office, where's my office? He just turned up with his laptop and just sat in the cafe. And I thought to myself, it's like this building, right? There's all these desks here and desks there. All I ever do, don't know what you do, if you want to work, I just plug in the calf.
Oh, literally,
That's it,
I've been downstairs in the makeup room for about 4 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's wearing some strange sports gear. Anyway, desks is so last year. Forget desks. I mean, it's a ridiculous waste of room in your office. Anyway, 03444991000. We all hate desks here. We're all in agreement. What do you think about desks? 03444991000. Have desks had their day? But give us a ring. And in the morning, it's going to be Ian Collins. It's Ian Collins. Free for all Friday with Ian Collins from 6. We'll be back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is the press preview with Andre Walker, Asher Gould and Pete Barnes. Oh, the front page of the Daily Mirror. I've got to be honest with you, I hate stories like this.
I do, yes.
So just to explain what it is, it's Rupert Lowe has described Dunblane as one murder. I bet when you listen to it, really, it's not that bad.
I have to admit, I haven't listened to the podcast. However, this is the same trap that Reform UK fall into. It's not about them, it's about what it looks like to other people. It's about the potential voter that's going to look at this and think he's no different than everybody else. It's the same trap again. It's so internal looking that you've really got to start to take your step back from it and think, if I was just a normal voter, not political, and I saw a politician insulting dead children, it's not a good look.
The problem is he's talking about the crazy gun laws.
Oh, he's
in the UK.
completely right. I imagine
and the gun laws in the UK are mad.
It's
I mean,
mental.
they're completely over the top.
Yeah. I said I've not listened to the podcast, but I have no doubt that what he's talking about is very sensible.
I mean, actually, the gun owners that I know, and in fact, we were quite good mates with a guy called Will Hanley.
Oh, yeah.
Who was a gun owner, and in fact, Scottish International at whatever target shoot, whatever it was. That place Bisley where they keep all the guns and whatever. It's so secure. It's so whatever.
Yeah. I think it's more secure than most air bases.
Yeah, these people are very, very responsible.
Yes, they are.
Now, OK, I appreciate that Thomas Hamilton, was a nutter, but a lot of the rules...
A legal gun holder, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
A lot of the rules have gone too far, really. I don't know why you bring up Dunblane, though. I mean, what's it
but I think that's the point. I agree probably with the point he's trying to make, but if you don't know something 100% and it's got this incident involving in it, don't bring it up as an example. Don't use something you don't know the full facts about when you're got the eyes of the press literally waiting for you to put one foot out of line. Don't do it. This is a bit of a silly
question about
anyway, wasn't it?
I think 16. Yeah.
One question about Rupert Lowe.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange, that party, isn't it? So
I think that's an understatement of the year.
So those young lads...
Is that syrup?
Those young lads who get slagged off, people like Conor Tomlinson, they've always been all right to me. Right, so I'm not going to slag them off. But it does seem to be sort of, decrepit old Shire Tory and sort of working class right-wing boot boys.
Yeah.
And you think, how are they all mates?
Yeah, but the thing I actually do like about Restore is the fact that Rupert has actually brought these young people through. He's actually kind of done what the right should have been doing a long time ago, and kind of building a factory of potential candidates, of people to move the movement forward.
He's a bit like the officer class and the working class sort of privates in the war. They love, their officers.
And I get I've never met Rupert Lowe, but I get the feeling
he's threatened to sue me. But then again, he's threatened to sue everybody.
I think I'm next on the list. But I'll wait for that knock on the door. But I do get the feeling that he is one of those people that, if he recognises something in you, he will give you the time of day. If you know what I mean. Like, if he sees, like with people like Connor or Charlie Downs or people, he sees something in them and he's giving them the opportunity to do something. I don't think he's really in for himself as much as people think he is.
You know, the women here used to love Charlie Downs.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
He's like a Disney prince.
Yeah, he did work with us a couple of times, if you remember.
I'll tell you what, do you see that?
He did what with you?
That was the one that was. We've got to bring that back.
We've got to bring that back.
Right. Do you know there's this boxing thing? The punch bag in TalkSport? He got 970.
Yeah.
Right. His hobby is cage fighting.
I was going to say, he is a cage fighter. I knew it was something like MMA or cage fighting.
Right, he just went, boom.
Yeah.
He just went, oh.
Yeah. Because, again, when you meet him, he's a very kind of calm, very nice, very polite. And then, you know, he's a cage fighter.
Underneath, he's simmering.
When your hobby is cage fighting.
Yeah.
I reckon he's fair.
Also, another tribute to Bonnie Tyler, a voice like no other. She did. I mean, when you used to get a cold, you could sound like Bonnie Tyler or Rod Stewart for a day, and you always liked it, but she had that all the time.
Yeah.
By the way, front page of the Daily Express, I thought that was Nigel Farage.
It's the King. Heatwave plea to join the Penguins. The King's gone mad. He's saying go to your zoo and go swimming with the penguins. No, he's not really saying that, but I don't know what he's saying because we haven't got the rest of it. But he's standing in front of a penguin.
Yeah, I don't know what that story is. I might have to actually find page 8 and 9.
But only go with his lifeguards. So it's very dangerous. People drown. A lot of people drown every day during these.
And don't try and pick them up like pick up a penguin.
I've got to be totally honest with you. Zoos. I'm a sceptic on zoos.
I like, this sounds really, I've got to phrase it very carefully. There is an adult zoo, and that basically means there's no kids allowed. I think at London Zoo during the summer. And it's basically where there's like little stands that offer you cocktails and you can wander around the zoo.
Swingers zoo at the zoo.
And apparently that is very good. But I've always liked zoos.
You've been, haven't you?
No comment.
On
the advice of council, no comment.
So did you used to go what? To Chester Zoo?
There was Chester Zoo.
What's the place?
Something safari park. Knowsley Safari Park.
Knowsley Safari Park.
Dudley Zoo. West Midlands Safari Park.
Yeah, what's the one that they do?
The problem is with Knowsley Safari Park, you didn't know which was the safari park and which was just Knowsley.
Yeah, that's true. You were like
the monkeys are nicking my hubcaps.
Yeah.
No, that's not the safari park.
I got attacked by the hippo at Whipsnade.
That's just Knowsley.
He pumped his feces at me, bouncing it off the wall, and he knew what he was doing. He roared before. He was annoyed. I would be annoyed as a hippo.
They're actually quite lethal, aren't they, hippos?
They're the most lethal.
They're awful.
They can get you.
My mum once claimed that she was concerned that hippopotami disproved the existence of God because she said having thought about it, why did God go, let's create a hippopotamus?
I thought the answer to that would have been the platypus.
Yeah.
A mammal that lays eggs.
Yeah,
How
with a duck's bill.
With a duck's bill.
She said, look, given God created everything, she said, I'm slightly concerned that what was the point of the hippopotamus? She also rebuked Islam in the following way. She said, no, this is true. She said, look, God did not create women for them to put that bag over there. That was a very unpolitically correct thing to say.
Just a tad, sorry.
Indeed.
The Daily Express, Kemi, only Tories have serious policies. Kemi Badenoch, it's a day.
She's doing well, though, isn't she?
I tell you right now.
Their
From a poor start, though.
She savaged Labour's Andy Burnham and reforms Farage for indulging in nonsense happened in a pivotal moment in Britain's history. There's a zoo where the only animal it has is a dog. It's a Shih Tzu.
Oh, God.
She hit PM in waiting, Mr Burnham, for failing to set out defence plans and unleash fresh condemnation on Mr Farage for triggering a by-election. And she wrote this in the Express.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Express carried it, but let's be real. Where Kemi started and where Kemi is now is two very different places. And I always said that this was the fact that she learned very early on, not everybody needs to hear from you all of the time. She let Keir Starmer and Farage take 10 bells out of each other, and now she's crept
like
through.
Sun Tzu, don't interrupt your enemies when they're making a mistake.
And that is what the Conservatives have done to reform UK. Say, look, you can take all the people, you can do all this stuff, but eventually they'll bring themselves down.
By the way, can I just make a point?
Yeah.
A litre of Pimm's for a tenner.
I mean, I saw that, and I mean, I've made a note.
Normally
I've actually made a note
with
of
the
it.
club card. Yeah.
I sometimes have Asda summer cup.
But drink sensibly.
Carry two.
I've got to say one thing. My love of Asda has been destroyed.
Oh.
They never ever send the full order, and they've now started banning me getting refunds because. And what I do you know what I used to do? I used to get the shopping and then just put it in the cupboards and assume they'd sent everything.
Yes.
Now I check it. See, they never ever send
my
everything.
My mother taught me this because they get delivery, and she said the same thing. You've got to go through it to make sure everything's there. Particularly if you do like a big.
Well, what
a big
happens
shop.
to the drink is what the drivers.
Basically they just kind of forget to pack it or whatever.
Yeah,
and
so
but you still get charged for
normally
it.
with the Asda home delivery, I reckon about a third of it doesn't come.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
But then again, I shop at Asda.
Well, you know, I was just about to say every little helps, but that's Tesco.
Good food costs.
I've got to be honest with you. Back home, I've got pressure to go to Waitrose.
No, I'm sure Asda are fine. Don't forget Ask Ash after the news.
Have you seen this Ask Ash?
Yeah, I'll do any
I do
advice,
actually listen to it
medical.
in the
I'm not
cab on the way back.
qualified. DIY, cooking, religion, philosophy, whatever you want, give us a ring off after the news. 034 499 1000. And your calls as well will be taken, and we'll call you back. We've already got a few. Perry, Mark, Harry, Chris. We've got loads. Anyway, The Guardian, police investigate donations from mother of Farage ally to reform. Convicted fraudster George Cottrell's mother, Fiona, made deposits worth $500,000 to party.
I mean, let's be honest, nothing says wholly legit like a fraudster's mum.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. When you have to bring your mother as that's the person. I mean, but again, I go back to the point. What is Farage doing around these people? That's my question.
But he's allowed to be. It's legal.
It's illegal, but that's the point. This is the bigger question. It's not that if it was a legal problem, that's easier to solve. It's not a legal problem. It's an optics problem, and that is even worse.
Let me ask you this question: my reading of the rules is, if I was to say to you, Pete, I'm going to pay you £2,000 a day to be my political consultant, right? And then you come for the 50 days a year and earn 100 grand, right? If you then decide to give that £100,000 to reform, then it would be completely fine, wouldn't it?
It is. It's perfectly
you would have
fine.
earned the money in the UK, right? Now, the fact that I know you're going to do it is neither here nor there. It's not that difficult.
You're not responsible for the actions of another person, but that's the point. Is that this is the bigger thing about the Standards Commission? Is it is very dry questions. It's who gave you it. Why did they give it you? When did they give it to you? Why do you need to
like Lord Ali in the glasses, like Boris Johnson and the Russian guy in the house? They all do it, but yet he seems to be facing a lot more problems.
I think the glasses are slightly easier with Lord Ali.
And the suits and the dresses.
The Lord Ali,
the penthouse.
Well, the penthouse, the glasses, and all that. I think is a bit easier because it's clearly personal, isn't it? I mean, nobody.
The passes to Downing Street.
Hang on.
That's the big one.
But you could never argue giving someone a pair of glasses is a political donation.
Yeah, but 16,000.
But hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of rent for free.
Yeah. But it's not a political donation, though, is it?
This is the bigger question when you bring in the Farage situation.
What made it a political donation was then giving the Downing Street passes.
Yes.
That was the problem.
This
they
is
were
where the
filming in the penthouse and using it in political messages.
That makes it all political. The problem is George Cottrell's money has been linked to paying for things for Reform UK. That makes it, by definition, a political contribution. Whether it's a donation is a matter for the Standards Commission. But all Farage had to do was here's the receipt. Again, security is one thing, but where's the receipt? Where's the audit trail to say, here's the money, that's what it was for, end of conversation?
Do you know what I'd have done with the £5 million?
Yeah.
Very, very, very easy. It's not relevant that it happens to be my younger brother, but my younger brother is a partner at St James's Place Wealth Management. the UK's largest financial services company. They can set. I mean, I'm not trying to advertise them. It's not real, but any financial services company like that can set up a trust. You put the 5 million in trust, and you say, right, the 5 million is now for for security for my family.
Yeah.
It is administered by a trustee. I am not the trustee, or even if you were, it wouldn't matter, because you can't personally benefit if you put the money in trust. Yeah. So essentially, you go, look. The 5 million now is a separate entity for the security of my family, and at that point, nobody could complain.
And that's what they should have done.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what they should have done. This is the point, is it's their inactivity around this that has made it 10 times worse. That's why the indictment is worse than it is when it comes to Lord Ali, is that they had a chance to make this go away, or even actually use it as a weapon and say, look, we did the right thing, you guys didn't. That's the bit that reform should actually be very annoying
I'll
about.
tell you what, why don't we go to a break?
Good idea, let's do that. We've got Pete Barnes with us. We'll go through the papers. If you're listening in, Collins is going to be on. If you're listening in the morning, back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes, this is Talk, this suppressed preview with Andre Walker, Asher Gould and Pete Barnes. I want to draw your attention to the Daily Telegraph. Meghan and the children are going to join Harry and Britain. I am going to say for the first time ever that there's something I agree with Prince Harry on. I think actually giving him security in the UK is probably sensible.
I don't understand why anybody's been against this from the beginning.
And security abroad, no.
Security abroad, no, that's their choice to be there.
Yes.
And, you know, they've got enough money, apparently.
And I've got to say, because remember, if it was Metropolitan Police, Royalty Protection Division, wouldn't it? 8 hours,
I think it's 3 and they have a spare, don't they?
Yeah. So then you'd probably need about 4 guards. Times 3 is 12, then holidays, so that would be something like 15 bedrooms, 4 armoured vehicles. Yeah, I mean, just crazy.
It's mental. But I will say, it's quite interesting just to throw in the Farage comparison. It's the same committee that decide Prince Harry's security that will decide Nigel Farage's security. So if one's correct and one's not correct, Just
Yeah, but he's a possible Prime Minister. And normally you give...
So is 649 other people.
No, they're not. No, you normally give the opposition leader the same as the Prime Minister.
He's not an opposition leader.
No, but he's actually ahead of the polls.
Not in who's going to be the next Prime Minister. It doesn't matter if you're ahead of the polls. It doesn't matter. It's complete irrelevancy.
You know,
He was also given the chance to have full public protection, and he refused it because he wanted his part private, part public. That doesn't work. So that is actually why.
I think the slight problem with what you say is that when it comes to absolute hard and fast rules, the only people who are actually secured are members of the royal family, then the Prime Minister, the Foreign Secretary and the Home Secretary as a matter of right. Then you get into during the election, they give security to people. The problem is these rules do alter. The reality is with Farage, and this is why he needs the 5 million, by the way, I think. Part of the problem with Farage is he doesn't want the constraint and the oversight of the police.
I think the second one is a big one there.
So the constraint is he likes to do walkabouts and they don't, but also he simply doesn't trust them.
It's also, I think it's also the fact that, you know, I don't think it works in Farage's favour at the moment to have a policeman following him around. I think the optics of that don't look great from his perspective.
No, but he can't trust them, and he would be all right not to, really.
Well, I think you've got to be fair to the bodyguards. The bodyguards are not allowed to say what they see.
It's the same with former Prince Andrew, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like everyone's saying, well, why don't they come forward? They don't come forward because you need to know that the bodyguard is not. You're not going to make a bolt from them. Basically, they need to know where you are.
Just to explain that to everyone who's watching and listening, who might be slightly confused. Normally, it's a criminal offence for police officers to ignore a criminal offence. But what you have to realise is, if you are the bodyguard to a 16-year-old royal and they start smoking pot, right? If they believe that their own security are going to arrest them, then they're going to start running off. Right. So you have to leave them to it. Now, clearly, if you're going to murder somebody, then step in. Right. But things like they're not going to stop you from having an affair. They're not going to stop you if you break the speed limit. They're not. You know, there's bits and bobs like that, which I think is eminently sensible.
I think that's the sensible thing to do.
Then they won't say what they see.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I think
so
they
they'll be no good at catchphrase.
I know. No,
I think if you get, I think if you then,
Mr. Chips, they are not.
I think then if you end up in a position. By the way, can I tell you something? Newsnight did this thing about Pizza Express Wokingham. Right.
There's a start to a story.
Right, with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Let me tell you what when I watched the Emily Brainless interview, right, my understanding of what he was saying was he had taken her to a Pizza Express in Wokingham to a party. Not he'd gone with her in it.
Oh, I thought he'd gone inside the...
Well, why would he go to a birthday party with his daughter?
I mean, there's a lot of things in that.
It takes your dad.
I'm not going to lie. The one thing I am quite jealous of is the fact that he doesn't sweat. I mean, after the last few weeks, I'm not going to lie.
Especially after a jalapeno hot.
Yes,
exactly. What made me laugh about that was, even if he'd had dinner... Right, Pete. Just be clear. You've been to Pizza Expresses before.
I've not been to the one in Woking,
and you've been to nightclubs before.
I have.
And he sweats.
Is it possible to both have dinner at Pizza Express and go to a nightclub on the same night?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that because, Pete, Pizza Express closes at 10 o'clock, whereas a nightclub opens at 10 o'clock?
I want to know, to this day, who was giving him media advice?
No,
Eugenie, wasn't it? Or Beatrice, it was her. She was running it all.
His press officer resigned.
I know. I would. After that,
she sorted out the interview. The Ron Princess. I mean
that is crazy. I couldn't have been at Tramp's nightclub. I was at Pizza Express. Right, dinner, then drinks, and dancing.
Yeah.
Right, that's...
Like everybody's evidence is the dawn of time. Dinner.
I once went for dinner and then to Tramp nightclub. Yeah. I did actually.
I love how it was called Tramps. It was like the one in Birmingham. It's called Snobs.
I used to go to Snobs when it was in the old place on the corner.
It used to be the kind of ironically the Tory hangout for Conservative Party conference was
amazing. Snobs,
I remember I went to Conservative Party conference once and I went into this strip club. Strip club afterwards, and this old boy dodders out of the toilet and goes, "It's marvellous being away from one's wife."
I do kind of miss Tory conference.
The thing is, at Tramp, you know, gin and tonic's like 80 quid, you know what I mean? And they have Cristal champagne's like 10, 15 grand a bottle.
To be fair, that's just the Wetherspoons these days.
Snobs, it's about 4 quid a pint. You know what I mean?
By the way,
they pay you to drink the pint.
Talking of Wetherspoons, You know how it's 3 Smirnoff Ices for about £8 or whatever?
Yeah.
Right.
What is it now?
I did that. No, I did that the other day. Well, my mate's diabetic. He checked. Right.
It's
10% of a Smirnoff Ice is sugar.
Yeah,
Right.
This is what I always say.
That's not a good idea.
None of us ever got drunk. We just had a massive sugar high and a crash afterwards. That's all we ever had.
That's right. 10% of it.
insanity.
That means that every single one of those bottles has 33 grams of sugar.
Oh, God. But they were good.
Yeah.
Right, the Soaraway Sun, Fish Finger joins Bin against
can't believe
Nige,
it.
and this is there's a man. He looks like Les Dawson. He's dressed as a fish finger.
Is it a fish finger? I encourage
don't
people
know.
to go
I mean,
look, buy the Sun and have a look at the photo because it looks more like a plaster or it looks like something else.
And R.I.P. It's on
You're
the
right,
screen.
that's not a
if you
fish
look
finger.
at-
That's not a fish
No, it looks like
Looks
one
like a
of those.
hernia.
One of those Italian amaretto biscuits. R.I.P. Queen of the Power Ballad, Bonnie Tyler. Fantastic Bonnie Tyler. She was a great, when she came on the show, she was a great laugh, real down to earth, like a sort of girl, a Welsh girl you'd meet at a nightclub, and she was like, laughing,
Yeah.
smoke
She
fags.
laughed.
No, I mean,
Smoke
when I've
fags,
seen
had
her...
a lot of drink, you know what I mean?
I remember watching her interviews on things like Parkinson and stuff, and she always came across as one of, like, the nice people.
just
a
a
normal-
down to earth, you know.
You've got to be
she didn't
careful with
change.
celebrities who appear nice after the
true.
Peter Kay
No,
problem.
She was all right. I mean, she-
Oh,
Yeah,
if we
well,
told
yeah,
them
no,
once, sorry.
No, well, no, it's different. Outrage has 3 lines. Kwanzaa has red card wrap extended. This is after Donald Trump fixed it so the American guy got reinstated. It didn't do him any good. In fact, it made them more angry. And they lost 4-0 or 4-1. Ban out of order and fury erupted last night when England's Gerald Kwanzaa had his red card banned extended to 2 games after the US player had his... And it was a horrible looking, but actually he wasn't meaning to do it, and he basically slid down the guy's chin. It was a horrific looking tackle. The leg wasn't planted, so there wasn't a danger, and I think they could have overturned it.
Is it one of them that when they play it in slow motion, it looks 10 times worse?
It looks horrendous, and they could argue that it was dangerous play, and he shouldn't be even anywhere near doing something.
To be honest, football
but
in
no
general,
worse than lots of others.
Football is a contact sport. I think people need to remember
It certainly
that.
is. The 3 lines defender was expected to get a 1-match penalty, but it was later suspended after Donald Trump personally intervened. That was the Florian Balogun. Anyway, UEFA had a go at FIFA. It's all gone. It's all handbags. It leaves England with a defensive crisis. Should they beat Norway tomorrow? One fan fumed. Why is it 1 rule for the Americans and another for? Continue on page 9. So it's probably us.
Yeah.
Well, it always has been. That's the way of the world, isn't
Well,
it?
to be
America
fair-
has their own rules.
Yeah, to be fair, it's quite nice to see that this isn't the only bit of England that's got a defence problem. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Nice one.
That is my contribution to the football chat.
Right, have you got anything to say in the last minute before we go and join Ian Collins if you're listening in the morning?
Realistically, I think this is a major problem for Nigel Farage. I think the damage has already been done, and I would start to consider that the phone call came from within the House. Because you've now got the generic problem, they've got all the other one after another. I would start to look at who's not in the headlines from Reform UK. That's all I'm going to say on that.
So what are you going to be on?
Interesting, isn't it?
Where are you appearing this
Is she
week?
still working it?
Are you appearing on Ian Collins this week on Breakfast or anything?
I'm in with
Hit the delete button. Hit the delete button.
I'm in with Alex Phillips on Saturday and Mark Dolan on Sunday.
Working it.
Fantastic. Right, well, thanks, Pete. And next it's all going to be about your calls. I don't think we've got any guests. It's just all about your calls. So give us a ring, 03444 1000.
Are we going to do an outside broadcast?
And ask Ash any advice. He's going to go and get a kebab, and we're going to talk to him live back after the news. World Kebab Day tomorrow. Let's celebrate.
Right, it's World Kebab Day tomorrow, so ask Ash. You're going to go. You're going to do.
You're
that.
going to get a kebab.
I'm going to go and get a
We're
kebab.
going to do
We're
a
gonna film
live
it.
broadcast. He's going to be live. Like when I was at Moorfields doing the live Moorfield, he's going to do a live kebab shop. Is it definitely kebab? You're not going to the pizza?
No,
Well,
it's not World Pizza Day.
It's not World
Kebab
Pizza Day. It's World Kebab Day, and so we're celebrating. He's going to get
It's like a remedial class,
the
isn't it?
elephant's leg, and he's going to be eating it live on air. Let's find out. I walked past there earlier. It smelled quite nice.
All right, yeah.
It tastes all right.
I think we can do that.
But we don't know what's in it. So, what are you going to order? Chips, kebab in the roll, and what?
Yeah, I think I'll do a kebab. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to go down and speak to them because I don't know if they want to be on camera.
Well, stay tuned.
Who knows when they've got?
Sit outside.
Who knows when they've got a visa?
They've got tables outside. The police haven't got to them. Anyway, thanks, Pete. Stay with us to see him eating a kebab. 0344499 1000. Give us a bell. Don't be a stranger.
Oh, aye.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm on this mic. Yeah, my old mic. Yeah, it's Talk. Andre and Ash, but Andre, not Ash. Ash is still here. Andre's gone. There's his shirts. Put that over there. 03444991000. Any advice you need? I'm not very qualified, but I'll give it a go. Medical, cooking, DIY. But the caveat is I'm not qualified, but there's no waiting list. You get straight through. And let's start with Heather. Heather and Gavan.
I just want
Morning.
I want you to wish me a happy birthday. It's my birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Heather. Happy birthday to you. How old are you?
57, but I'm 21 again.
You're only 57.
Yeah?
Happy birthday to you. Are we the first people to sing happy birthday? Have all your relatives and friends phoned you? Have you got sacks full of mail?
No, I'm on my own.
You're on your own and not got anyone, but you've got us.
Yeah.
All the country are now joining in, you know, wishing you a happy 57th. Have you got a badge with I am 57 on it? Have you got any cards or none whatsoever?
Well, my next door neighbour will be coming back later on with my birthday card and present.
Later on? What are they out clubbing or something?
No, they're on holiday.
What, but they're coming back specially later, just from their holiday early, to come and wish you a happy birthday? What will they bring round?
A card and a present.
What did they bring you last year?
I can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, you know you share your birthday with World Kebab Day.
Well,
Are you having it? What are you going to do? Like at midnight, it's a lovely weather. What are you doing? Are you going out now on your own? Are you going to get drunk and walk around on your own? Go to a kebab shop, maybe?
Well, later on in the night, I'm going to have a takeaway and drink some whiskey.
So this is later on in the night. So you're really going for it tonight?
Yes.
That's great to hear. So, but what are you doing in the lead up to that? What are you doing in the lead up to that then? You've obviously got something past the parcel, but you're on your own, so you know it won't.
In the fridge.
But what are you going to do until that time you drink and have the... What was it? You're going to have a cake. What are you going to do before that? Sort of watch a documentary?
Well, I'm going to go down to the beach later on when it's daylight, and I'm going to have a takeaway as well.
On the beach? Are you going to have a kebab because it's World Kebab Day?
No, I'm going to have fish and chips.
Yeah, good idea, yeah. Don't go swimming. It's dangerous.
Plus, at 4 o'clock in the evening, I'm going to ring up a takeaway and get a takeaway.
So you're going to have the fish and chips on the beach and then you're going to have another takeaway?
Yeah, I'm going to have a chicken korma with boiled rice with me whiskey.
But hold on, you're having it at 4 or 5 in the morning when it gets light, you're going to have the fish and chips, yeah? Will it be open
At
then?
lunchtime, I'm going to have my fish and chips.
Well, hold on. You're going to have a chicken korma on the beach at 4 in the morning?
No, 4 at the evening.
What? What was that?
4 o'clock in the evening when it comes to evening.
But what are you going to have now, like, in the middle of the night? What are you going to eat tonight to celebrate?
Well, I've got Coca-Cola going.
Was that it?
I'm going to open my big Bucks Fizz.
Bucks Fizz?
Yep. It's in the fridge, chilling.
Have you got any food, like nibbles? You got pretzels or something?
I've got some... I've got cheese and onion pasta.
Well, it sounds like a fantastic night in store for Heather, who's 57 today. She's celebrating with a can of Coke, a pasty, and then a chicken korma at the beach at 4 in the morning. What would you do? Do you have any traditions on your birthday? Let's go and talk to Grace in London. How can I help you, Grace, on Ask Ash? What can I help you with?
Well, I didn't actually call in to...
Well, that's what this is, like.
Yeah,
Why did you call in for not... You know, we set this up, like, as the show, and then you've said, well, no, I'll just call in and say something else.
No, I called in earlier to make comment on the topics that were being discussed, but then I was called back just now. So
That's very cruel how they did that, isn't it? And put you in the wrong section of the show.
I guess I was thinking, following on from the discussion about hippopotamus.
Oh, yeah, the hippopotami, yeah.
What your views are on creation and the natural world? Because I think
there is a
God
designer.
did create hippopotamus.
I think, you see, there's a designer, and evolution is a scientific tweaker that the Lord made to tweak his great creations.
Yeah,
am I right or am I right?
Yeah, I think that the more you look at molecular biology, the more you can see there has to be a designer, and it's not in conflict with the idea of evolution.
They work together hand in glove. It's a beautiful
and there
system.
are some things in creation that we do not understand because they are a bit weird. I had a kid's book when I was growing up that pointed out weird animals and said God made even these really weird animals. But I don't think hippopotamus disproves God. Although I would agree that God doesn't need for women to cover up their faces entirely.
No, just the bits that you don't want to see, yeah.
I would quite happily cover up all of my face all the time. I look terrible. But I
bet you've got a beautiful face.
I really don't, but thank you anyway. But I'd also called in about Rupert Lowe. I'm afraid I have to disagree that this was unserious. I think it's quite an insult to the families that he referred to it as one murder, and I think it's important because
it was 16 murders, wasn't it? I mean,
16 children and one teacher, so far as I've heard.
Right, so 17. I remember I was working at and it was like one of the most because they were all very, very young. Horrendous story. What this bloke just went mad from the local. Andy Murray went to that school with his brother Jamie.
Yeah,
I think they were there at the time, but
they must have been. Andy Murray must have been a couple of years older because I think I'm the same age as the children who died, and I think I'm a bit younger than Andy Murray. But I think if Rupert Lowe wants to claim that he cares about children, as he has been doing with this inquiry into the rape gangs, he needs to show that he does care about children and isn't just using tragedies that happen to children for his own political gain. But that's just my thoughts on what was said about Rupert Lowe. I don't tend to listen to Joe Rogan very often, except I did listen to the Wes Huff's episode because Wes Huff is an interesting historian who spoke about the Bible on the Joe Rogan Experience, but I don't tend to listen to otherwise. Do you listen to Joe Rogan or other podcasts yourself?
I've done a little bit. I mean, not much, because he does American things, but I do. I saw Douglas Murray on there and some other people. You know, he has some big. He's the biggest podcast in the world, isn't it?
He is, yeah.
And he's an interesting character. You know, he has some dodgy, funny guests, doesn't he? But anyway, look, are you having a kebab? It's World Kebab Day, Grace. Do you like a kebab?
I haven't eaten a kebab in all my life because I'm weird and boring, and I have Nora.
What's the closest thing to a kebab that you've had? Sausage sandwich?
I have had sausages at points, not in a sandwich.
What's the closest to a kebab that you think you've got to? Have you had a wrap with meat in it?
I don't think so. No.
Why not? Have you got some sort of phobia on wrapped meat?
No, but those of us who are on the autistic spectrum, we tend to eat just a really small range of things.
Do you eat the same thing every day? A lot of artists do that. They have they wear the same clothes, they have the same food at the same time, because it stops you having to think about things.
It's partly that, yeah.
So what do you eat every day?
I eat mostly just chicken breast for protein, sometimes tuna, and I eat ridiculous quantities of cabbage. With a
you don't like carbohydrates? Do you not have a bit of potato bread, rice?
Not really, no. If I'm going to get extra random calories that aren't protein or veg, I'd rather have chocolate than bread.
Yeah, I agree. As long as you have a balanced diet.
A balanced diet is some cake in each hand, right?
Exactly. Thank you, Grace. Cake in each hand. Let's go and check out with Andre. He's gone to get a kebab live on air. This is a bit like Annika Rice Treasure Hunt and Challenge Annika. We've challenged Andre to get a kebab, which is a really easy thing to do because he does it on a normal day when it isn't World Kebab Day. Andre, where are you, Andre? Come in, Andre.
Okay, so here I am on London Bridge, just outside the state. You can see the beating heart of London behind me.
Yeah.
And we've come to the Londonish kebab shop. These guys reckon they make the best kebab in London. So given it's World Kebab Day, we're going to pop in and have a quick chat with them.
And you can sit outside as well, can't you, there?
Walking backwards.
So he's entering the kebab shop. It's quite a shallow kebab shop in the arches of London Bridge.
This is the arches of London Bridge, yes. So these guys are down with the people. They're on the street. They get what's going on. This is the beating heart of the kebab world.
It's the centre of where London began, really, the Roman epicenter.
Guys, okay. So listen, what's your name? Robert. Okay. What I want you to do, Robert, I want you to place the best kebab that you make.
Kebab.
Okay. Okay, make us a mixed kebab. Come on.
A chicken and lamb shawarma type thing, is it? A chicken and lamb?
The problem is he doesn't fully understand that this is the TV moment.
Just show us the meat, the spinning meat. Let's see the spinning meat.
Make it. Come on. Let's spin some meat.
Spin that meat. Oh, look, there's two meats. So there's a chicken and one. That looks quite a nice one. Yeah, that looks quite a nice. Can you get a zoom in on the meats?
Unfortunately, they appear to be prioritising other customers.
Never mind the other customers. This is live.
Hello.
Hey, all right, yeah, lads, all right, yeah. Drink sensibly and have a kebab. Are the chips good? Do you have the chilli sauce, the garlic sauce?
I have the chips, but you were talking earlier about the fact that some people like cabbage, and the great thing about the Londonist kebab shop is you can have a bit of red cabbage in there with your other salad.
I like a bit of red cabbage. Do they know it's World Kebab Day? Are they celebrating?
Do you know it's World Kebab Day today, guys? Well, they don't know anything.
Well, tell them. I mean, maybe they'll be really, you know, they'll do a song or something.
World Kebab Day.
Tell them, celebrate. Let's all cheer and have kebabs together. Come on, hey, kebabs, hey.
Okay. So, where is this kebab? Come on, we're going to look
Get on with it. Tell them to get on with it, man. Bang your hand on the table. We're live on TV. You're hungry.
There we go. Yeah. Oh, look at this.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Where's that? Is there enough meat in there? Is there enough meat?
Look, there's a decent amount of meat there. They're going to let me eat that meat.
Just general meat.
There we go. Okay, so now what we have to do is we go for all the salads.
Lovely condiment set.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got the condiments, there's some chili and garlic. Now, I like to have a few extra jalapenos with it as well.
They're all made in Hales Owen, though. So.
I'll tell you what, I think
look on the thing, because we've got someone from Hales Owen, Amy. A lot of those condiments, that you read it, they're all made in Hales Owen. It's one of the main industries. What's he doing there? What you got? You got a hipster there with you. He wants a does he want one of them muesli places?
Just some American hipster.
Yeah, it's not for him, is it? Really? It'll be too rich. It'll be too rich for him. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. They like salads, don't they, Americans? Yeah. Better than the meat they had. No chlorine in our meats.
I'm going to have to give you the phone while I eat the kebab in front of you. So there we go. Let's hold that. Okay. So here we go. Right. So this is the mixed kebab from the Londonist in
London Bridge.
Come on.
Where is it? I want to see you take a big chomp on that slab of meat.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that, unravelling it. Very professional. Give a nibble at the end there. Look at that. Get it down, you. Oh, look, and there's Andre. If you're listening on the radio, Andre's tucking into the top kebab. The kebab men are smiling. They're over the moon. He seems to be enjoying it. It's World Kebab Day, and he's chomping. Happy World Kebab Day, everyone. Andre, tell us, how is that kebab going down? You can just see the hand now. You palm your hand in front of the camera.
Okay. I'm coming.
He's back on the street eating his kebab live on London Bridge. Show people, let other people have a bite. Let's get everyone involved in this World Kebab Day.
I don't think I can ask members of the public to bite my
If you're listening on the radio, just walking down the street up to London Bridge.
My goodness me, this is actually fantastic.
Don't offer your meats to the public, just the doner kebab.
I'm just going to tell you something. I haven't paid them.
You're a bit muffled. You're on that hands-free thing, aren't you? It'd be better without those earpieces, to be honest.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do.
Take the Bluetooth off and just go on the mic.
No, okay, here we go.
That's better.
All right.
Now we can hear you. So tell us how you feel.
All right.
How are you
Can
feeling?
you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. How are you feeling after that kebab?
Look, I think I'm going to have to meet you back in the studio because I'm having to...
It looks like we're all getting really hungry. Anyway, look, that is Andre. He's at London Bridge. Go and support your local kebab house today. It's World Kebab Day. There's so many choices. You can have chilli sauce, red cabbage. It's not just one thing, and different chicken and lamb. Support your kebab shop. It's Andre and Ash. He'll be back with half a kebab, and we might have a nibble ourselves back after this.
Across the UK, on DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, it's Talk. We just did a live OB at the outside broadcast. That is from the kebab shop, because it's World Kebab Day here at London Bridge and all over the country. Everyone's celebrating their kebabs, but we're taking your calls now all through till 1 o'clock. And then, of course, Talk Sport and Talk TV become as one and simulcast together, and we're going for all the World Cup. Is it going to be Benedict Fletcher? Yeah, it's Paul Ross tonight, isn't it? It'll either be Benedict Fletcher or Paul Ross. You don't know. It's like a raffle. No one actually knows, so make sure you stay tuned and find out. Anyway, 0344 499 1000. There you see, at Talk TV. And at Virtual Ash and Andre Walker if you want to get us on Twitter. But now let's go to Mark in Lincolnshire. Mark.
Hiya, Ash, mate. You all right?
All right, man. What's going on, man?
Cool. Yeah, I'll just briefly touch on this because I just done the numbers on it. This is potentially really funny. You know this by-election in Clacton?
Yeah.
Farage is now being made to look a complete and utter tit. Basically, yeah, just had a quick look at the numbers based on the 2024 election. Because all the other parties don't have anybody to vote for. If they all suddenly decided to say, you know what, we really hate Farage, let's humiliate him, they would win by 3,500 votes.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, the thing I don't like about it is the way they've all united against, another party. They've acted like the Uniparty. They did it with the local elections when they tried the Tories and the Labour councils. Some of them tried to get them. Well, they did, and then it got overturned when Reform took legal action. So, ultimately it's democracy that suffers.
I think you can make some level of argument to that end with the Uniparty thing. However, I also think that it's also quite understandable why they wouldn't want to stand in.
You've got some kebab stuck under
there.
Oh,
here we go.
Sorry, he's back with his kebab.
Right.
Just bear with us. Just bear with us. Are you having a kebab today to celebrate? Did you know it was World Kebab Day? They're not very good publicity, are they? They didn't even know at the kebab shop. Are you going to have a kebab today?
No chance, mate.
It's not going very well, is it, for World Kebab Day?
World Kebab Day.
Well, you support. Well, yeah, what have you got against kebabs?
Kebabs? Well, when I saw how little sheep's actually in kebab, yeah.
Is there enough sheep in there for your liking, or is it? Can you tell how much sheep's in there? Is it 30% sheep?
I have got to be honest with you.
supposed to be like less than 10% sheep in it in most kebabs or something.
There's some chicken in it as well.
I personally wouldn't have ordered. So he gave me chicken with doner.
Yeah.
A lot of them think it's best to have a lean meat and a fatty meat put together. I've got to be honest with you, the taste is good, but I am dubious about doner kebabs.
Well, it is
But
funny because it's like thin slices of strange...
In fairness to these guys, what I've been told about doner kebabs is if you go to a good place, they buy good quality doner. If you go to a bad place, they buy bad quality. From a purely taste point of view, these guys seem to have bought good stuff.
No, but the thing
That's
is,
all I can
the way
say.
you look at a kebab is the solid one. I wouldn't buy that. You want the one with the like separate steaks or the lamb, and they cut it. That is the proper one. Have they got that there? But that's the more expensive one, isn't it?
No.
Is that the chicken one? Yeah, but you want that with the lamb. You want slices of proper lamb steaks or whatever they call
Various
chops
places
or
do
whatever.
that, but this one didn't.
No, well, you know why? Because you don't know. It's like, but it looks like sandpaper, doesn't it, when they cut it? It's like greasy sandpaper.
But I'll be honest with
It's
you.
a great fibre provider.
These guys...
Wouldn't touch it with a barge pole now.
What's Lincolnshire like? You have your sausage in Lincolnshire, don't you? Famous for your sausage.
Yeah, Lincolnshire sausage, that's really nice, but, you know, I nearly said something else there when you said famous for me sausage.
What's your most famous Lincolnshire thing? Is it the sausage, the Lincolnshire sausage?
Yeah, that and I suppose all the RAF bases, maybe.
The what bases?
The RAF bases, because you have
the sausage is more famous than that.
Do you know the difference between Lincolnshire and Cumberland? My breath is killing you, isn't it?
No, it's filling me up. What Cumberland? What the
so
sausage?
You know how like you always go Cumberland sausage,
or
Lincolnshire sausage.
What's the difference? Yeah.
In Cumberland, they used to import all the spices and whatever, so that's made with black pepper. But in Lincolnshire, they've got all the herbs from the market gardens, so it's got herbs in it.
What do you prefer? Well, I switch from season to season.
I think any of them that have got a bit of flavouring in them is all right. I just hate it when it's just meat.
Yeah, but if you had to choose Lincolnshire or Cumberland.
Cumberland. I've got to be honest with you, the most disgusting sausage product I've had recently, I went to Tesco and they had this caramelised onion sausages, and basically you could tell they just dumped a load of sugar into them. I've got to be honest with you.
Well, no, you have to caramelize the onions.
Sugar in sausages is wrong.
No, but you caramelise onions by adding the sugar in the frying pan. Yeah, yeah.
Oh well, I didn't like it.
Tell you what you would enjoy from my my local butcher. He does a cracking Lincolnshire sausage pie.
Oh yeah.
But then you're mixing up your mediums, your meat mediums.
What about in Wigan?
where have pie or sausage.
What about in Wigan where they put a pie in a roll? That's like two types of
pie in a roll.
That's like two types of wrapping.
Well, like a barm cake.
Yeah,
I mean, I like a barm cake and a chip barm cake.
I would have my meat and turkey pies in a slice of bread.
You have your pies in a sandwich type thing.
But to me, that's too much. That's too much of the old carbohydrate element.
Yeah, but a carb and a carb is sometimes a good thing if there's a different carbs, like for example, the chip barm cake, chip butter.
Or what about crisp sandwich? Do you like crisp sandwich?
I don't really believe in them, but they are not bad when you have them. If you have ready salted, of course, you got ready salted.
Crisp sandwiches are all right, but they're not the best. I mean, you've got to try, if you haven't tried it, Ash, have a bash with a pie and just try it with a slice of bread. Just cut some off.
Because sometimes the cheap soft bread is the best bread. Like a sausage sandwich, you've got to have the cheap, crappy bread. It's no good in a sourdough, nice bread. It only works in that soft
I've got to be honest with you, Ash, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think posh bread's awful.
Sometimes you've got to have that soft, crappy bread because it properly is a different. It's a different.
But I like the way when you get a slice of Warburton's, you fold it over, it doesn't break. No, I hate the Happy Shopper one.
I watched the program once and they twist the bread so it's very clever how they do it at Hovis. I think it was very interesting. It's not all that man with a flat cap. It's all technological now. Anyway, thanks, Mark. Let's go to Jerry in Burton-on-Trent. Go, Jerry.
Do you think I'm in trouble for not paying for the kebab?
Can I
they
change
don't know who you are. You'll be all right.
Can I change the subject to Nigel? Because
yes, you can.
I've been delving a bit, and now I dare say you guys have heard of Majid Nawaz.
Yeah. Magic Nawaz, I remember him, I've met him. He's a good lad. I like him.
I think he's
a former Islamist who actually was imprisoned and that, and then he totally saw the other side, and now he goes against it and de-radicalises people, and he's totally anti-Islam. He saw the light, and he's a very interesting man.
Yeah, he set up Quilliam and all sorts. Now, the thing is, he's doing a bit of a new take on this. He's saying that the Telegraph have discovered that Nigel approached a solicitor and a number of MPs to declare what was going on, and he was reassured by them that it didn't need to go before the ethics committee.
Well, why hasn't he said that then?
Well, exactly. And the other thing that's odd about Nigel, he keeps saying, I haven't broken the law, without saying I haven't broken the rules. Now, the next question I've got for you guys...
Well, can I just stop you there? The big issue is gifts that are wholly personal. So let me give you an example of what they're thinking of when they say wholly personal. If you give your wife a diamond ring, now, and she was a member of Parliament, clearly she's not going to declare husband gave me diamond ring because it's purely personal. Now, the definition of what is purely personal and what is not personal is up for debate. I have to say, Pete Barnes says that this $5 million is not wholly personal. I think that is the way the committee will rule. But when he said all I was going to do was spend it on security for my family, in a sense that is personal-ish, isn't it? It's not a payment to him, it's not earnings for him. So I think it's difficult, but I will say, when it says personal gifts, they really do have in mind, my best mate got me this for Christmas, not I got £5 million off a donor.
So who is this independent committee? Who's it made up of?
Oh, who do you think is made up of? Big load of lefties.
Yeah. No one from, parties that would find
Yeah,
him.
absolutely. You know what it's
the
like.
The Uniparty, basically.
You know what it's like. Why are you even asking that question, Jerry? You're an idiot.
Jerry.
You're an idiot.
Jerry.
Because the mainstream media uses this term independent.
Well, they're in on it as well, aren't they, mate? That's why you have to watch Talk and maybe one other place for your real data. That's why they're trying to stop it all, with this YouTube, control.
It's disgraceful.
It's outrageous. It really is like North Korea.
But I think the guy has really handled this so badly. And the problem for Nigel is, I used to think, the guy's done phenomenally well, but have you noticed every time he talks about a policy, he says, I think, I believe, I want to do this. Not we. He doesn't say, they say there's no I in team.
Well, maybe that's the Donald Trump thing. Donald Trump was the one, and that seems to work. People do want a strong person, but is he that person?
But you see, sadly, with the demise of poor old Ben in the park, in the team, and then of all people, they drop David Bull like a stone, and you think, come on, Nigel,
What happened with Dr. Dave Bull?
It's all very weird.
Derek Acora tried to strangle him once. There was a lot of strange things happening.
Creed Kafer.
Yeah,
Creed.
so,
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Derek Baker, Creed Kafer. Creed Kafer. That was brilliant. Derek Acora.
Look how quickly they jumped on Rupert Lowe. Over 2 hours, that podcast, and he happened to make one gaffe. And my God, didn't they?
It's quite a big gaffe, though, wouldn't it?
And but you see, the thing is, there's no slack, is it? It's all right for start.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You've got to be. Yeah, no, it's true. It is it's a two-tier political system, and the Uniparty don't like it when there's other people challenging their cosy system.
Exactly that. And then Starmer says of the sausages, oh, well, that's a mistake. He said something about, he regretted saying something about...
Island of Strangers, that was what Starmer said. And then he goes, I didn't mean what I said, but he said it, Starmer. You said it. Anyway, thanks, Jerry. 03444991000. It's all about your calls. It's the National Kebab Day. We're all celebrating it. You still got a bit of kebab.
Oh,
How are you going so far? You feeling good?
I've got to be honest with you, right? And jokes aside, let's not talk about Charlene Downs at all today.
Back after this.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
This is The Late Show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould, and Simon has been in touch saying that the best kebab shop is opposite the fire station and the 3 Tons pub in Slough. The joke of this is I will actually go there now.
Well, yeah, it's good to get a doner kebab recommendations.
Yeah, if you've got any other... Do you remember that time when we actually did the cooking segments and people started phoning up with their cooking ideas?
I don't know.
No, that was me and Danielle, not me and you.
Well, I did do a cooking segment with James Wales, the great James Wales, on a Sunday, and we did a fry-up one day, and it set all the alarms off, and the fire brigade turned up.
You know that's £600 per visit.
Yeah, well, it was a good fry-up, you know, but we didn't know. We never did it again. Robert, Hertfordshire Bob.
Hi, guys.
Morning.
I'm disappointed with Nigel. He stood the 3-card trick, and he's pulled his own pants down in public.
I've told him about that.
No, but I mean, if you know...
He got that from his private school, Dulwich College.
Well,
it's tradition.
If you put yourself on offer, and they're going to be like... They know that they can get to him now. He needs an attack dog. He needs a Dominic Cummings or Alistair Campbell.
Well, he's got his guy, the chairman guy, or what's his name?
Z, Youssef?
Yeah, he's got Z. That's his attack dog, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
What about Lee Anderson? Where's he? He's gone all quiet.
Yes.
You mean what you're talking about is a media professional?
Lee Anderson is your attack dog.
No, a media professional who's going to be an Alistair Campbell, Dominic Cummings type person. I think probably they don't have that.
I'm talking about a political bully. They're all terrified of.
Like Alistair Campbell, yeah. Well, no, Andre's right, and you know, have they not got that? You'd have thought that'd be the main.
There's not many of those sorts of people knocking about, actually.
Would Dominic Cummings work for Nigel Farage?
Yeah, but the problem is he'll fall out with him. He'll just go. Nigel did not do as I told him.
That'd be quite interesting, wouldn't it, to see them?
That was the downfall of Boris when he sacked him, and it was because Boris's wife. Put a mate in for a job. That was the downfall.
Cummings said at 10 p.m. when the election was announced that Boris had won, the attitude from Carrie and everyone had changed, and it was obvious he was out of the job. He'd done what he'd needed, he got him in, and that was the end of that. And he said he felt that immediately when the polls, the results came in.
I don't like the guy, but he's a genius. He's an absolute genius, you know.
And he said what happens, you know, it's all a farce now. You know, the blob run everything. They don't have any power. They're given the lines to actually say to cabinet ministers. So all it is a mouthpiece that Burnham will be.
Well, the thing is, people... I do believe that you two and Pete Barnes are the most intelligent guys on the radio. And
that's true, you know. That has actually been proven.
What you need to do, you need to educate people.
We try.
That socialism doesn't work because it's corrupt and outdated. It doesn't work.
Well, everyone knows that. All the millions of people died, but it hasn't had a bad name, you know, like nationalism has, which is actually, you know, that's where we've gone wrong over the last...
Socialism only killed 100 million people. Yeah. Let's try it again.
80 million. I mean, the Nazis were national socialists. All right, there was a racial element as well, and, you know, but really it's the response to this system, and it's never really got the name that it should do.
Well, it's Marxism now. I mean, what you've got now, you've got the Fabians have taken over, and they're pulling all the strings. And I'll be honest with you, there is not a political... You know, we're in a lot of trouble, this country, and there is no political situation. Politics, it don't matter what party, you're not going to get us out of this. We're in too deep now.
Well, Thomas Jefferson said, you know, democracy is a great system, but every 200-odd years there needs to be a sort of, basically, he said, a revolution to keep it in check, because the human condition is that even if you have democracy, it will get corrupted. And so there needs to be a rebalancing, and he was basically talking about a revolution every 150 to 200 years to show people, reset the system. And he said, in the scope of the thousands of lives lost, it's nothing over the centuries, and it's just part of the democratic system. system is this violent reset that happens.
The problem is the lefties always try and game the system, don't they?
Well, that was the problem. The left were told, people of Marxism were told, get in, win legally, and then change the system so you can't be kicked out. And that's basically, so we're on these two systems, and that's why you end up with these David Betts situations saying that is inevitable civil disorder.
Well, when you've got people like McDonald coming out of the woodwork house, and they make me
Has Ronald McDonald been out again?
Yeah, he's poking his head.
Do you know, by the way, do you know the name of the owner of Boysdale Restaurants?
No, who's
Ranald McDonald.
Is it?
Ranald McDonald.
Who's Boysdale? Is that something?
Boysdale, the posh Scottish restaurant. So he's called Ranald McDonald.
Is there such a thing?
Boysdale's
an oxymoron, or what? As posh Scotch restaurant?
Have you never been?
I'm only joking. Of course there are. Loads of them, aren't there?
Blue Neck is fantastic. You smoke cigars
Everything
in there.
is deep fried. It's
Smoke
marvellous
cigars
stuff.
in there. It's
deep fried cigars, everything. Anyway, Bob, anything else?
Yeah, Andre, as my mate Ken, has he been on tonight?
He's not been. I'm worried about Janice.
Ken was on GB News, apparently.
Was he?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
What, behind a reporter?
Talking to someone going, Jesus, please,
Antichrist,
Jesus.
I have great news. Yeah.
I love him. Should be more people like him in the country.
It's true, yeah. We'd be in a lot of a better situation. At least we'd be having a good time, wouldn't we?
Now, by the way, we've got 3 or 4 slots available now, so if anyone wants to call in, 0344 499 1000, you're going to get through, because I don't know if we're going to call them back.
Well, we've got Harry, Chris, Jerry. Oh, we had Jerry, Tony and Perry, so we'll give it a minute. But we can get you on. If you ring now, you get quick. We'll give you a ring back.
Hey, by the way, I do want to say one thing. Oh, we've lost him.
Never mind.
I do want to say one thing, Asher. Don't worry too much about him. This thing...
Don't worry about
this new system that they're bringing...
Don't call us back, Bob.
This new system that they're bringing in, that they're consulting on, the consultation ends on the 31st of August. Next week, what we might do is tweet about it so people can get involved. What they want to do is when you go onto YouTube, if you look at any particular subject, it'll bring up the BBC, ITV, Sky, before it brings up any of us.
I don't think it'll work, because, it's like they try to force electric cars. It doesn't work. Because all people will do, because there'll be a campaign, whatever you do not watch BBC. You just don't click on it and make a list of the ones you want to watch and type it in, and you have to search manually, because basically they're going to control the algorithms, so you're going to have to just do it manually.
So just to be clear, and I know it sounds bonkers, but what we are saying is that the government are currently consulting on legally requiring YouTube to prioritise content from the BBC over content from outlets like Talk. Legally obliged them to do it.
Private people, like your thing, and they're basically saying, oh yeah, because they can't be trusted, like the BBC, all the scandals with the Trump thing, the Hamas documentary, they're totally biased. It's a ridiculous thing, and it's North Korea all over again. Anyway, 0344 499 1000. We're going to whip through some calls. We'll call you back, and you can leave a WhatsApp message on that number as well if you're a bit scared. 0344 499 1000. It's Andre and Ash at Virtual Ash at Andre JP Walker, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Oh, aye.
across the UK. On DAB+, on YouTube, on your mobile, and on your side. This is Talk.
Yeah, this is Talk, and this is a late show with Andre Walker and Asher Gould. And Asher, look, I want to ask you a question, because we've not seen each other for a couple of weeks now. What's your take on the whole Iran situation? I'll tell you why I asked that, because I know that you're not a Middle East expert, but you're somebody who keeps your eye on the ball.
Yes.
You keep your eye on the ball a little bit. I have to say, I thought the deal that Donald Trump did was absolutely effing ludicrous. I think that they had the Iranians on the tiles and then backed off.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they knew it was ludicrous. He was just doing it for the elections, wasn't he? Or it's sort of everyone. I mean, even he must have known. Now, the war games experts, so they'd have said this is what.
What for that 60-day thing over the?
Yeah, I mean, they knew that it was all going to kick off again. They know Israel aren't going to, if they're told not to do it, aren't going to respond to Lebanese, Hezbollah missiles coming over, and people can't live in the north, and Hamas is still going. It's all still going on, and. Of course, I heard Rear Admiral Chris Parry today on Julia's show and saying, America could take the Straits of Hormuz. He's an expert. He knows what he's on about. He goes, if they really wanted to, they could take it.
Yeah, but it's a long-term commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it would, because he says that Iran, they're really finished. We don't see that because they've shut down the internet, but... They're really fragmented so much. The people are still scared, but eventually there'll be a breaking point. The economy's failing. They're not able to get their oil out, and that is the thing, that the economy, isn't it? It's the economy.
I thought the extraordinary thing when you compare Israel and Iran is the whole issue with the aquifer. I know this sounds stupid, but what the Israelis have done is that basically they have got wastewater and they're pumping it back into the aquifer. So actually, they're refilling up their groundwater supply. Now, obviously, if you take bath water and treat it, you can't put it straight on crops or whatever. So they put it into the aquifer, which will clean it over, say, 20, 30 years or whatever it is. The Iranians have just literally pumped all their groundwater out. So if you dig a well and you start getting water, that's fine. But if what you do is end up in a position where you just pump it forever, the Iranians themselves have freely admitted that their aquifers are now empty and they've got a real problem. The irony is the people that could solve the problem of Iran running out of water are actually the Israelis. And so there is an irony here, that if the Iranian regime falls, the Israelis would feel obliged to help the Iranians with their water system, and they would be able to do it.
Well, of course, they are on the side of the Iranian people.
I think that's right. And I think they know that.
Netanyahu has said clearly, you should overthrow your government. Anyway, it's that time of year. Yeah, not the World Cup. Not just about World Cup, of course. It's Wimbledon, and we've got one of the players here. Well, no.
You are dressed a bit.
I am dressed a bit.
Well, it's good she gets into it fully, you know what I mean? We've got Amelia Beltrao here. Have I said your name?
By the way, can I tell you about our fail at Wimbledon last year?
Go on.
Right. We have a very good friend of ours who was a contributor on the show who is just a gazillionaire. Yeah. And he had, believe it or not, he had bought... not tickets, but he bought 2 seats at centre court, 2 seats at court 1. He had his own table in the club area.
We had our own veranda, right? Didn't we, over the player.
And let me tell you this.
What's this man's name, by the way?
He had his own kosher chef, because he was Jewish.
It's Phil.
Right?
Can I get Phil's number?
And let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. We didn't realise how good the day was going to be. We missed lunch.
We missed lunch. Yeah, the chef and everything.
They had made the chef had specially been brought in because he wouldn't eat the normal food, and the chef had prepared our meal, waited for us, and then when we arrived, we said, well, could we not just have it now? And they said no.
I reckon they had it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Anyway, so you're doing the news at once. You've got a short time. Tell us about Wimbledon and tell us about the World Cup. What's your views on everything? What's going to happen?
What's my views?
England tomorrow or tonight now, isn't it?
England.
Saturday.
Well,
playing, yeah.
We are we are
it's
Friday.
It's actually today.
It is today. Well, tomorrow, rather.
Tomorrow. Is it tomorrow?
Do you want to talk Wimbledon
it's
first?
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, talk Wimbledon first.
Let's talk Wimbledon. So the big exciting news is the fact that Arthur Ferry is going to be playing in the semi-final tomorrow against Alexander Zverev. This is a huge win, obviously, for Britain.
It was unexpected, wasn't it?
Completely unexpected. He was a wild card. He's ranked 100.
He's an English hope.
English hope. I actually knew him from growing up. Like, we actually played.
Did you play tennis?
Oh, you're a tennis player.
I'm a tennis player.
By the way, can I just say one thing to you? The thing I absolutely love about this company with TalkSport, they get genuine sports enthusiasts, people who are genuinely interested, so you actually know the bloke.
All the former athletes.
Yeah, so I actually went to Wimbledon yesterday. I went into centre court, watched him, was crying my eyes out basically. But yeah, had drinks with his dad, his coach afterwards. And
wow, so you really do know him.
Yeah.
So where's he from, and tell us his backstory?
So he was born in France. He's
typical. He never
he's
fully
born in France, but he moved over with his parents when he was a baby.
Oh,
so he is born and well, not born and raised, but he's raised
bred
here. He's bred here. So he went to school in Wimbledon. He then went to Stanford because he wasn't too sure whether he wanted to commit to going pro as a tennis player. So got the
He went to Stanford School?
University.
Oh, Stanford.
On a tennis scholarship. Yeah.
So did uni, came back. So he's only really been pro for about 2 years, if that. And in terms of his Grand Slam success, it's literally his few games that he played in the Australian Open early this year. He had a wild card at Wimbledon last year, and then of course his amazing successful run.
Is he lucky or brilliant?
Is he a flash in the pan like Raducanu?
No, well, I hope not, because what I've really noticed in his game is that he's become like a sponge in which he's completely absorbing all the experience, everything that he's learning on the court. With each game, he's getting better and better. Like even in the first few games.
Is he going to win?
I don't think we'll go that far, but I think we can still champion him as a great success story. He was 114 in the world.
Wow.
Since then, he has now become British '1.
Is he tall? Is he like 6 foot?
He's small. He's 5'9" because he didn't like milk as a kid, as a baby.
You see? Yeah.
Because his father, Loic, is very tall. His dad's maybe like 6'3".
He didn't drink enough milk.
But it doesn't faze him at all. He's very quick on the court. He's very accurate in his passes. Very powerful. Very good at reading the court.
Small. Being small can, you know, like
he's learned to like find different advantages, like in his
lower
game.
centre of gravity. You can move, get closer to the
net. But he will
be
playing Alexander Zverev, who did just come off the back of a Grand Slam win. He won the French Open just back in May.
Djokovic is still.
Djokovic is still in. He is. He's going to be in the other semi-final.
63 years old.
He's in the other semi-final against Yannick Sinner, who is the defending champion. So I would likely say that it would go in Sinner's favour, even though he hasn't had the most amazing game that we have normally seen. Like normally he's quite faultless, but we know he's been quite slow going in some of his games.
I know this sounds like a stupid thing to say. But we are 2 matches away from having an England Wimbledon champion. At the end of the day, in reality, and things can happen.
We had that with Henman and.
Well, Arthur is one of 2 wild cards to make it to a semi-final. The other one was the 2001 champion. So he was a wild card back in 2001, and then he went on to win the tournament. So it would be an amazing fever dream.
Arthur's a good name for a tennis champion, isn't it?
It is. Well, there's already chat about renaming Murray Mound, Henman Hill. They're now thinking about calling it Arthur's Seat.
Arthur's Seat.
Arthur's Seat.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, why did you wear all the whites today?
Do you know what? I went for comfy. I knew that I was going to be in the office and it was cool. I needed it to be cool, and I've now coordinated in my all tennis white. So you guys are probably the 5th people.
It's fantastic.
No, I just want to ask you one final question.
Go on.
Are you interested in World Kebab Day?
Do you know what?
Today. No one knows.
Well,
Where's
do
the
you know
kebab
what?
publicity?
I'm going to probably burst your bubble. I don't eat meat, so it's kind of wasted.
I didn't think you'd.
I eat fish.
You could have the stuff without the meat. It would be rubbish.
If they do a halloumi kebab, I'm all over it.
You didn't look like the sort of person with the sort of chilli sauce dripping down your face at 2 in the morning.
I love food as much as the next
tell us a little bit about the World Cup. Where are we up to?
The World Cup. So we've just had France versus Morocco. France beat them.
Didn't they used to be the same country? No, that's France and Algeria.
No,
what's going on in France? Is it all kicking up because they celebrate by smashing up the town?
Well, I haven't seen anything as of yet.
Right,
it seems pretty civil. Well, I think it could have gone the other way. But there is a big Moroccan community within France. Obviously, in the 1950s and 60s, they brought a lot of workers over into France to supply all their different industries. So there is actually a very big...
Well, they were a colony, weren't they? Was Morocco a colony?
No, I think it's Algeria.
Algeria, just Algeria, Northern Africa.
From the Northern African region. But yeah, so France are our first semi-finalists. They will face either Spain or Belgium. And then, of course, we also have Argentina, Switzerland, who we will then play, should we win, against Norway.
I just love the fact that we appear to have a team this year rather than a collection of
they have got
players.
together well. Will we control Haaland? He's the only danger well, he's not the only danger, but the main danger.
He is the main danger.
We've got that Newcastle guy who keeps him in his pocket.
That's what I was going to say. Dan Burn, in terms of his record against Haaland, he's only been able to score 1 goal since every time that Dan Burn's been on the pitch. So I think
that's what we need.
Get the big guns out, bring in Dan Burn. Obviously, Gerald Kwanzaa, who got a red card in the last Mexico game.
3 games now, apparently.
Two games that has now been extended. So it was a 1-match ban. Now
what do you think of the Trump thing? That was outrageous, wasn't it?
Which Trump thing?
You know, where he got the player unbanned.
That was outrageous. I mean, I think it's not uncharacteristic of Trump to do that, but it's Gianni Infantino I think people will have a problem with because
FIFA, yeah, UEFA had to go. Anyway, you've got to go and do your news bulletin, haven't you? So make sure you tune in, listen to the news. It'll be Amelia at 1 o'clock, and then it's going to be Cundy.
You're turning people away from talkTV.
Well, yeah, because it's all as one at 1.
Oh, fine.
We all become as one.
Oh, fine.
We become as one.
Then listen in.
So Cundy and Jamie O'Hara will be doing an extra hour of sports bar because of all the World Cup stuff, and then Paul Ross. So join Amelia.
Thanks for coming in, Amelia.
Thanks for coming in and brightening up the studio with your tennis gear.
You're very welcome. Right, I'm off to go play.
Yeah, indeed. OK, listen, I want to ask you this question. Oh, look at this. Adam reckons that Scoffers in Hastings is the best kebab because it's a steak kebab.
No, that's more like
beef kebab?
Like a shawarma. Yeah.
No, shawarma's lamb.
Well, yeah, that's true, but it's the proper slabs. Like, I don't like this elephant's leg sort of thing.
You're not into the piece of...
I will, I love it, if it's necessary.
What's the worst takeaway you've actually ever had?
Probably from a kebab shop, it was a cheap one, and it had, like, funny bits that didn't look like the right part of the animal that should be in it.
Like bits of bone and stuff.
White, gristly, tubular things.
Oh!
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think the number of people that I've got, the number of friends I've got who live next door to like a takeaway, and they go, we see what they do behind the scenes. Now that's not all of them, but there are 1 or 2 very, very dodgy places. Do you ever go to the Kebab Awards?
No, I've been to the Curry Awards with you, and also James used to put on Curry Awards as well.
Is that the one that got sued for being a fake competition?
Oh, I don't know.
There was one of them where somebody put in their entry fee and discovered that the winner was the person that paid the organisers the most, and he sued them because he said he didn't know it wasn't a genuine competition.
Now, look, I just seen this story in the Times. David Miliband eyes cabinet return as he backs Burnham, the new Labour minister who lost out on the leadership to his brother, Et Brute, is seen as a contender to become the Foreign Secretary.
He's been the Foreign Secretary, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, maybe years ago, under Tony Blair. Or was it Tony Blair or Gordon Brown?
I think it was Brune.
Brune. So he could be making a return, the brother that should have been. And, will he actually become leader? I mean, he has actually got something about him, hasn't he, unlike Burnham, and has he?
Yeah, I think that's probably right, actually.
He can eat a bacon sandwich.
His brother's weird, isn't he?
Well, I think when the time comes, we'll obviously be imprisoning all the current cabinet, but Miliband will go, it's not his fault. He'll be taken to
I'll tell you what, the thing
with his ukulele and his big rock.
The thing that's amazing about Ed Miliband rather than David Miliband, that man has plunged so many people into poverty. Do you know, I was thinking the other day...
Cold poverty.
In terms of him... freezing elderly people to death in the winter and cooking them because they can't buy air conditioning in the summer because the high energy prices. I reckon by the end of his career he will have killed 100,000 people.
Yeah, well, I remember when the Labour government had to go, well, the Labour opposition as they were, had to go to the Tories saying if you cut the winter fuel allowance, you'll kill 4,000 or 5,000, and they did the same. They actually did it.
Maybe 100,000 is too much, but look, the reality is...
No, it is. Every year there's about 40,000 excess deaths in the winter months.
Yeah. And this heat can't be doing any good. But the reality is, if you look, in the United States of America, everyone just turns their air conditioning on.
Well, they moan about heat. A lot less people die of heat than cold in this country. Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands die of the cold. And heat, it's, sometimes single figures. I mean, it can be very low.
I mean, unfortunately, it's not a beautiful sight for me because I've been literally sat sleeping on my sofa in my underwear with the air conditioning blowing all over me.
We all did that. I mean, that was Bernard Manning used to sit in his pants, but he did that in the winter and the summer.
Yeah, he was clammy in winter, even in winter. Look, I just want to...
By the way, what just happened coming out tomorrow on Talk, I think it's around 9 o'clock, make sure you're tuning in online, and Grumpy Old Men, of course, that's me, presented by Mark Wogan, Jeremy Kyle, and Steve from Verge, Steve Denyer.
And just a big reminder to go onto my YouTube, Andre JP Walker. You can get all the fruity stuff on there. We're talking about Sadiq Khan and the fact that Sadiq Khan has not invested in air conditioning on the tube since he got into office. Once again, that's one of those green things, you know, Asher, where he can turn around and say, oh, the reason the tube's so hot is because of global warming. Therefore, what we've got to do is support this net zero. Whereas in reality, they're not putting money into air conditioning. The other thing is, I've got quite a fruity take on everything that's happened with Nigel Farage. But I'll tell you the one thing that I'm going to make a video as soon as I get home. In fact, I'll probably do it now, actually.
Matron.
About this Pakistan refusing to take back Shabir Ahmed. I've got to be totally honest with you. I don't agree with Pakistan. The reason is because it's not about dumping our criminals on foreign countries. It's about breaking up the network. Like I said at the beginning of the show, for those
but it's their criminal as well. It's not our criminal.
But if we turn around and say, look, this is a person that's committed crime in Britain, if we take him out of his network, then that's going to destabilise that criminal gang in of itself. And so I see a global movement here where, you know, a criminal in Australia who was born in Britain, let's have them back, because then say they're running say they're running a drug dealing gang, say they're running a child sex ring or whatever. What happens is we get an opportunity to break up that group. And I think if everybody does it, now, I will admit that there are more people going to go to Pakistan than will be sent back. But by the way, you know, we do need to support countries in the third world, the developing world, whatever you want to call it, who have a serious problem with British sex offenders going